storylines behind it. Sweden, reigning champs, wanting to go back-to-back, and arguably favourites to go back-to-back. But Romania, it's about revenge. Last year, in the Ash, home soil, it was Sweden who eliminated them 2-0 in that quarterfinal. Had a little chance to speak to BTN yesterday. He wants revenge.
I mean, he was just clamoring for it, and you saw how much it meant to them to just dominate against Germany in that final map on Dust 2. And he's trying to carry that confidence in here today. When you look at the veto, you see Dust 2 being picked by Romania. I mean, that is purely just trying to carry that momentum onwards.
Yeah.
And I admire that about BTN. I like that he's kind of taking that into his stride.
Yeah.
Especially against a team like Metasport, now Sweden. There is a lot riding on just trying to surprise them, trying to put them in situations where they feel uncomfortable, especially with a caller like Plopsky, who's still trying to learn that role, trying to figure out how his system wants to be. I feel like a lot of it right now is still a lot of the remnants of what ZTR had previously in this 5-man unit, and so I'm hoping that he can kind of learn in this trial by fire on this LAN stage.
Yeah, exactly. There's two distinct advantages for each side. When we look towards Romania, it absolutely is the opening department. Zello, best player at this tournament so far.
0.40.
I know. Yeah. Expect the lights out performance coming through from this guy. I mean, he's been ridiculous all the way throughout, and it shouldn't really stop. I mean, it goes without saying he is. I mean, he is the best AWPer here. Like, it's not actually really. I don't think even
at
a
this
close
point,
comparison.
Kindo and Rafa.
But even if you look at the teams that have been eliminated, I'm trying to think like Germany. I would still say it's probably a little bit better than the hype in terms of his ceiling, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just the only issue that sometimes is consistency problems. But on the flip side, the Death Touch there, that rifling core is really, really good over towards Sweden, right? They have a lot of different facets of firepower, and without a doubt, the main man we're looking towards is Nilo. If Nilo plays the way we know he can, I mean, throwback to those, of course, who were following at the start of the year, back at Blast Spring Showdown, when they beat Falcons, it was a bit of a Nilo masterclass. This is a guy who really made a name for himself. The only issue is with this Swedish side, or I guess Metasport, is they've probably made, I think you hate to say it, but they've probably made some of the worst transfers of any team this year, right? Some of the players that they've lost who have moved on have gone on to bigger and better things. I think ZTR is probably the main one. I would like this team with ZTR and Plopsky, but then ZTR obviously calling, right? And then Plopsky just being a standard rifler in this team. That team's incredibly strong, but it's not what they've got. And then, of course, the other one being Adam B's twin brother, Susp, who's now got 3-0 at the RMR with wildcard. So gets dropped, goes on to bigger and better things. You've got to give them credit, and it does make you question for this Metasport side. Some of the decision-making they've made behind the scenes. Is this now still a team that is championship worthy, right? You know, I feel like with ZTR and Sus, I would probably say but you know, I mean, Lumi and Shine, I think there's still definitely reservations there.
Yeah, no, 100% I'm with you. I mean, when I looked at Svenska Cup and we saw their pretty dominant victory over NIP. Sure, it's NIP, you know, they have their struggles, and that's another whole kettle of fish, but genuinely it shows that they're learning how to play on LAN as a 5-man unit. You know, Plopsky is getting some more experience under his belt. That youngster of Shine also feeling a little bit more comfortable. But I'm completely with you. I think both Lumi and Shine are the weak links of this team. You don't have an elite AWP. You don't have an elite anchor. And that could come back to haunt them when you look at how Romania have just been stomping out cohesive teams in this tournament. And I've got to give credit to BTN there. So I think we had that big IGL head-to-head when we looked at that, the Germany-Romania previously, and now when we move over to this one as well, I'm looking at how BTN can try to out-call Plopsky in this one.
I mean, even the out-calling, we spoke about it yesterday, or the IGL diff between Kazakhstan and Portugal, right? I mean, Neelan versus Snappy, right? I think that's, you know, we kind of spoke about that, but in the end, it was sort of firepower that let Kazakhstan down when it sort of mattered most. We are live here. And I'm looking forward to this. I would probably say left in this tournament, BTN is probably the best caller here. He has a very cerebral knowledge of how the game is played. And he does have the right facets of this firepower of how he's going to make this a scary tournament. It's just a question of can the player step up? Keep an eye out for Chikardao as well. This is a guy who played in Pro League with Pera. And he was there as a sort of a standard. He'd only been there for a couple of months. But he was pretty damn good, man. John, new boy on this team, once wrapped in towards CT, but it's Raga who is low. He'll get his kill. Shine will answer with one of his own as he comes back, but it's his trades back and forth that are going in favor of Sweden. But still in that 1 versus 2. Raga, he got tagged down to 12 points of HP in the first engagement and now has to pull off a quad clutch. The first two are good. Plopsky and Shine both haven't taken damage, and from above, Sweden start really, really well. I like that from Plopsky. Good call to pause when they know they've got the numbers.
Yeah, you know, it's just a simple cat play there from Sweden, and they try to burst through, and they deal with some sort of pushback from these players in CT when they go try and diving through there.
Yeah.
But still, it's the player of Nilo to crack open and break that deadlock of trades back and forth, and that's what's so exciting about him. He's given all the resources on this team, given every opportunity to capitalize, and when he's given the resources, he uses them to that fullest extent. Keep an eye on him throughout this map. He will be everywhere, being a thorn in the sides of Romania. But Zello, feeling a little frisky at top mid, takes out his counterpart in Illumi, brings it down to a 4v4 early.
Yeah, Zello's just one of those guys. If he gets on a bit of a heater, if he warms up, I don't actually know on an individual level exactly how they're actually going to stop him. That it absolutely has to be kind of like the priority number one. That is the main conversation point for Sweden, and probably where they've done a lot of their time and effort. How do we slow this guy down? Plopsky does well for a couple, just making sure that this pistol round doesn't get out of hand. Last man on towards backside, seen off by Nilo. And it will be a 2-0 start for Sweden. Now, of course, in towards this matchup and the rest of this tournament, Sweden are without a doubt the favourites. I think quite heavily. They have a really good chance at 2-0 here. I mean, while Dusty obviously is a very good map for this Nexus core, and one in which they played a hell of a lot. Zello's incredibly good on it. Sweden are going to be happy to play this.
Definitely. Sweden's depth in the map pool generally looks really nice, and Mirage, even though it seems as though like it's a punish pick, Sweden has loved Mirage for ages with that Metasport lineup. They have done so much good work building up that system, and I think that's where Nilo looks the most dangerous as well. So yeah, keep an eye out when we move over to map 2, but this long control initially doesn't necessarily work out for Sweden, so they immediately move back to the B-bomb side. Nilo's found himself an entry, and Nilo also finds Raga being isolated. So if a B-split is on the cards, considering that smoke up in CT, he'll really be under threat here later on.
Good spacing there, though, for Raga to be in that supporting element, right? Just be able to quite quickly get that trade, not give Nilo space on towards B, and now starve them of information with a double smoke over towards the tunnel's position. So they want to move in through mid. That CT smoke now fades, and that actually might just retract that idea, thinking actually our best option is probably just try and pug out through shore.
It's going to still be difficult. There's still a couple of Molotovs up for the CT side, and they can't stall this up. They're going to go for re-aggression. Instead, Shine finds the necessary kill to go 1-for-1, and I mean, you're thinking to try and re-aggress, but that Molotov will stall him out instantaneously. And now it's Lumi and Shine that's going to have to kind of dig themselves out of here. 30 seconds left. They still have a CT smoke that they can deploy. Zello should be cut off, but they're going to go through it, and before it, they find the necessary kill, but now it's all up to Shine. 30 HP, and Raga never gives up space. I really admire that about him. No matter what, never kind of shying away from a gunfight.
Good work from Raga. He doesn't always play the best roles, but if Raga gets going, he is definitely somebody who actually has a lot of impact just because of those rotate positions that he plays. Bit more of a supporting element. Will try and facilitate players like Chikardao to get in towards a little bit more of an aggressive position. It seems like a drawn as well, is also trying to get in towards fights nice and early too. So we'll see. We're going to get quite an early timeout called here by Sweden off the back of the first gun round going the way of Romania. And this is probably just them trying to iron out some of the kinks and just saying, okay, we were like a little bit off. I mean, they're basically in most of their fights just half a step behind. Hence why the trades were always favorable over towards Romania. So it's just like trying to like space that out a little bit and just try and hope that that's not a consistent factor for them.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a worrying sense in that sense, just because of how difficult it was to get that Raga trade, because if there's anybody there to help Nilo, I think that round is over. They just explode in through the upper tunnels, and then they plant bomb, and of course, rest is history. But either way, Sweden, they've taken some casualties here and there, so they won't have the prettiest of purchases in this round. Lumi down to a scout and Shine on a Tech 9. But either way, there's still rifles, and Adam B is still absolutely a threat on this Sweden roster. Genuinely so clean with that Galil.
That's a bold decision to go peek and dry there as well. They don't actually even go off the flash. They go off the Molotov and hope they can fight through it. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's a risk. Maybe it's not even really worthwhile. And Raga doesn't want to take any more risks as well. He's going to leave that cart player icing. They're going to re-peek in, but for the most part, it goes one way. That is actually a really, really clean round up for Sweden.
It's really the only way that Romania can get back in is that if all of these players are blinded, maybe you can have a star just pop up. But unfortunately, they had a couple players playing anti as well. The trades were just immaculate from Plopsky. And, you know, Plopsky has been calling on this team, yes, but I think that he is such a significant factor individually on this team. If you want to talk about the firepower, that third star really does come from him finding some individual prowess as well.
And we know his level. We know the sort of ability this guy can play at. It's just whether the calling hampers him. And it feels like at the moment the answer is no. This is against the low buy rounds. They're actually very easily getting minced here as Nilo finds his second. Honestly, pretty simple stuff ultimately, right? The Pistols might want to try and get a consolation, try and make it a little bit expensive, and Jakarta will at least get his one. Any more would be nice. It's not to be. Adam B, Lumi, see off the final couple. We get ourselves a 4-1 start. We have another semi-final going on, and we're hearing a bit of shouting. So I'm going to see how that game's going on too, because that one's also pretty important. Who will be going forward in that Serbia versus Portugal semi-final on the flip side?
And you know, Serbia, Portugal being the other semi-final, it's not one that you would have kind of expected when you looked at the bracket. Of course, Kazakhstan having a flawless group stage and falling at the hands in a 24-round affair on that deciding map. Snabby pushing down mid and just taking the quarterfinal by the reins.
3 quick kills there, right? That basically won it in a matter of moments. This one's on for something. Braga trying to do his best, and it's so close for a draw on that second. Zello, the second wants to go through. It's a bold decision which doesn't pay off. And now John's ice age, he's got to go huge, and he can't. Gets caught by Lumi. That should be the round here. Molotov in behind it. They've got the site, they've got the space to work with. And I don't actually even think Jakarta wants to even give this a look in. There's no point.
Yeah, everything works out there for Sweden, even considering there was 3 players on that bomb site at one point. Every trade is swift, and you've got that linchpin in Adam B in middle in case things go awry, in case things need to be split upon. And now Sweden get a dream start here to this opponent map pick of Dust 2. Jakarta can never get involved. And now tail tucked between his legs, trying to hold on to this A4, but he's getting boxed in. They know exactly where he could lie. And as Nilo crunches in, Adam B will get word as well. That Molotov, if it was just a little bit deeper, they would have at least gotten a tick. But now surely, I'm going to say Adam B would close it out, but he lives.
Get on him, he somehow, I mean, it is like 3 more seconds left on that timer. It probably goes down there, but it could be the case. Romania going to call for their timeout. Good opportunity as well. Let's get BTN on the mic himself. Nexus, actually one of the few teams not playing with a coach. So all of this is coming from BTN and what he can sort of bring to the server. Or at least for Sweden. They have Abdi. Of course, he's been the coach of Metasport for well, basically from when they've begun.
Quite a bit, I mean, it's really nice to see that Sweden still believe in their coaching staff, and it's hard to just create an IGL out of thin air. Especially when ZTR did so much good work in creating this beautiful defaulting system. And I mean, all these showdown appearances that they had and the upsets they caused, that huge run that they had in that tournament, it really did come down to the calling and just the consistent nature of it. And now Plopsky has got to learn from that. He's got to find his own identity as a caller. And so far, you can see that it's working splendidly.
Lower play coming through here. Plopsky holding for this. It's just again the pistols for Romania. So expectations feel quite limited. Jakarta wants to try and punish, and he will be good for 2. Jakarta does so well. Keep an eye on this kid. He's really good when he gets going. He's just going to heat up. That's a wild decision. Through that smoke goes Shine. Bomb spills forward, but Adam B will trade. But BTN then makes his move. And his timing could actually be quite excellent, but they are still so cautious of it. So they're going to be dropping a lot of util and a lot of clearances before they even commit to a plan.
Yeah, they need to just suss out that elevator is empty. They're going to play together and hope that they can find another pick to make this a little bit more doable. BTN doesn't even show a shoulder, and now Jakarta goes through the smoke, but Lumi hits the flick. And now all the pressure onto the captain. And with no gun, I say that, he's picked up a rifle now. But with no kit, he's really going to have to pick his battles wisely, even with the HP disadvantage.
This is tough, but he may as well give it a go because they got money in the next. It's the question of what can he do, and potentially, could he make it a little more expensive? Shoulder peek will actually give away a spot on Lumi. That reposition is absolutely excellent from him. Super well played, just to make sure that he gets the preferential angle on that fight. The high ground, so to say. Sweden 6-1 start. Unfortunately, this is sort of expected. That's just how good Sweden can be.
I mean, this team has kept their head to the ground throughout this tournament. They had a little bit of a hiccup. They're one of the teams that
Turkey, I think
took first place, but dropped the map, and it was to Turkey, And very unexpected result when you consider the standings post-group stage.
Yeah, didn't even make out of the groups, Turkey, right?
Yeah, but they still stayed resilient. They've looked great in the best of threes. Dominating against the Huns, that matchup was not even close, even considering I thought that was one of the closer quarters that were drawn.
It's true. I thought they had the potential to maybe bring something to the table, but yeah, not to be for the Huns. At least for the Huns, though, they're in the money, which can help their ranking. We spoke about this a little bit yesterday, just because of sort of how the regional rankings work with prize pool. Even something like a 12.5k can really help them. I mean, they're already 8th, but pushing up in towards kind of that top 7, top 6, top 5, if they can make runs like that, might be exactly what they need. Raga towards double door, and he might as well have one crossing over towards Xbox. They know they're here, right? It's just a case about how to Romania react. Do they want to try and get aggressive like that, or do you want to play a little bit more passive? They do well, and they're now going to triple stack towards B.
And Zello gets activated as well. I mean, you can lean in this situation when you've got Zello dominating on this end. It's really got to be up to Adam B to make Zello feel uncomfortable. Chicardo has to fall. Otherwise, this round will fall flat on its face for Sweden. 30 seconds left on the clock. Here come the avant-garde smokes, and Adam B activates. He finds his man, and now it's time for Zello to step up. A huge ask, and that's where the superstar on the other end shuts him down. 15 seconds. They've got to get that C4 planted on the ground. And Nilo makes a little bit of a sound cue and backs away.
Oh, Adam hasn't been spotted, and he hears all this information. Will get easy for the first. The second does escape him, but not quite job done, but it's really giving them a good chance.
Oh, no.
Oh, hang on. Have we lost Shine? No, he's back. Okay. Looked for a second like he might have crashed there, but he's still in the server or in play as well. They're trying to jump round to find him. He's got to try and isolate, and he does a really good job of it. Molotov won't affect him, but the shot will. Brilliant from Adron. The rotate over from that B side comes all the way via long, and with that kit will give Romania their second. It was close, but no cigar.
Grueling round there for Romania to dig themselves out of, considering how many players they lose to Adam B on long. But that trade from Adron is everything. It allows for a retake possibility. They get enough information for him to piece that one together. And we have a little bit of a tech timeout. I do hope that they can sort out. I think there was some sort of lag or loss there for Shine. There's no reason for him to have his crosshair in that situation, and I don't think he is.
He kind of took his hands off a bit.
Yeah. I don't think that's a angle really.
Yeah.
But either way, made it close. Had a lot of damage put in.
Yeah, it looks like it's done anyway. It feels the time is back, and I can see.
Right, and you know, even with him bringing it down to a 1v1, they're still great in the money column.
Yeah, change the lip pillow, mate. Keep the concentration up there.
The lip pillow. Of course.
There's been a lot of studies in it recently, and it massive helps like concentration and stuff like that.
Shout out Upper Deckies.
Yeah, shout out the Upper Deckies one time. Where am I?
We are not sponsored.
Super popular. I mean, I even see he's probably one of the bigger users of it, but like Crims, when he plays Fnatic, he changes it he has one every 30 minutes basically.
He's got a pit stop.
Yeah. But it's become super popular in sports because of apparently it can really help with concentration. Now this is absolutely me not condoning it. Do not do anything off our.
You're obviously the one casting, not the one playing. So,
yes, exactly.
that should tell you everything as to our advice.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take it, essentially. But for now, well, that tech pause, the little box that says tech pause went away, and now it's back. Yeah. So,
it is definitely the Sweden side of things. I don't think they've really sorted it out just yet.
See them now, actually. Yeah, it must be with whatever happened to Shine. It was like It was like a stutter, wasn't it?
I'm thinking it's lost.
Yeah, because he still actually he still did end up like kind of gaining a bit of conscious back in the round. He had a nice shot, right? That quick flick on towards ramp box, but it's probably just more of a I don't want this to happen again kind of thing. Because, you know, maybe without the loss, he might have repositioned up towards short, he might have gone towards Gandalf, and it could have actually helped him because that bomb was planted open. So
trade might have been more swift as well to the player on site that dies. So
yeah, because you had a. Was it Lumi alive with him? No.
Well, Lumi died, right? Lumi died and Shine picks up his op.
Yeah. Who
it might have been Nilo. It might have been Nilo.
Yeah. So when he fights in towards CT, I think he's trying to take a little bit of onus there and trying to be like, okay,
right, yeah.
if I'm in a 1v2, I've got to try and bring it to 1v1 and then reposition because I know the last guy's long. But he actually just couldn't get that spray over towards the long player. So yeah, looks like it's trying to be fixed now. We'll see how long it takes.
Do you have an update on the other semi?
Let's check. I heard shouting, but then I checked and it wasn't.
It's real quiet over there.
Yeah, it wasn't live on HLTV then. So that actually might have been. There's a Dota groups going on now, so it could be Dota. But oh yeah, no, here we go. We are live. 8-2 Serbia.
Wow.
Yeah, we did predict it was going to be that Serbia-Sweden final.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Portugal, right, is even after an upset like that against Kazakhstan, it's still a little worrying when I can't pinpoint a win con for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not like. You had great plays from like TMKJ.
Yeah.
You obviously had these like heroics from Snappy, but like beyond that, when I look towards the rest of the group stage, I'm not like looking towards a specific player and saying, yeah, this guy is just going to take over.
Yeah. It is very true, actually. Like, who's the bona fide superstar? I mean,
yeah.
Portugal, maybe you can talk about No Peach, but then at the same time, he's not really been in this team that long, but he's probably the one with the most experience.
Yeah.
And he has played on like kind of the upper level of the Iberian scene. But yeah, no, it's tough. It's really tough. I think, you know, when I did the qualifiers, Crazy was the one for me, but then we don't see these lights out kind of performances like he had in the quals.
Well, we're back in game now, and Sweden again want to go targeting this B bomb site. Lumi primed and ready to maybe catch a little bit of a shoulder, but smartly done from Adron, chaining that utility to get the maximum efficiency. They're making sure that there is no extra pick that's valued there.
I wonder whether for Sweden, part of this game plan is like, they know Adron's like a stand-in.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's just see if we can try and make him uncomfortable. The same way we kind of spoke about Choiv on Nuke, for example.
Yeah, and then you had Favin on the Germany side of things, but he stepped up and you know, Choiv had his struggle, so Zello.
That's Zello. That's prime time.
Yeah, that really is.
I
mean,
mean, that's going to be the AWP diff, is that I don't know if Lumi's going to hit shots like that.
Well, he's not getting that same level of attention, right?
Yeah.
It's all around Nilo. But Zello will be that active player. He does get dinked up to the side of the wall, and now a head been spotted in pit. Chikardow's got to find his impact, but Adam B is just a little bit swifter. That head-to-head is one-way traffic.
That was actually a Romania flash as well. Zello, shotgun AWPing, and he wants to fight. He really wants to fight, but he's actually stuck between a rock and a hard place as Nilo was making his way up and via short. Smoking towards CT, they got the sight. And a tough retake here. They've got a kit to work with, and they've only got one flash. This is tough. They've got to get a kill just as this bomb goes down and they want a chance to make.
He's got to leave.
Hence why John's sort of like trying to give this a little look in. Flash round. That's that one flash now used. They've got to take raw angels. On the back sight. Trying to tap away. They don't know yet about this Goose player. They're trying to see where the third is. But bomb's planted long. And with no in route, I think the leaving is definitely the smart decision.
It feels just like a hands-off keyboard round there for Sweden. Nobody giving anything, not even a glimmer of a head. And Romania will have to give over that 7th round. It does feel as though that even with that long control, not even having the most amount of potency, it's the fact that there is no short control for Romania. It gives Nilo free reign to go charging through. Zello's got to pick between two angles, and even if he does get a shot off, max he's getting one kill before he falls. So he does so much in that round to put out a little bit of pressure, but at the end of the day, he's only one man.
Exactly. I think Zello as well, he definitely feels sort of in this team that he's got to be the difference maker. I think we probably look at it in the same vein that we spoke about, like hyped on Germany, for example, where he knows he's like the superstar on this side. He knows he has this sort of ability to be the make or break, and I mean, we sort of require him. I think who was the other example we had? Friend. Friend's the best example, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
I think he's the perfect kind of comparative factor where I would definitely say the rifling core towards Romania is much stronger. I think the calling's much stronger as well in a comparative nature. But Zello knows that to confirm rounds, he's probably going to be getting like 2 at least.
Well, back into it. Another Romania timeout. They can feel this half slipping away. And yet again, it's that initial B default to see if Lumi can find himself a pick. Sometimes spawn-based Counter-Strike can just do that to you, where you don't really have to have a complex default. You can just play off of those initial spots.
Look at this. Yeah, Raga. Again, it's clearing out towards long, but just not... doesn't have the eyes on towards suicide. He doesn't have a player playing in through door with like a scout or an AWP to be able to hold that position. So it's a timing play. It's a timing that doesn't work out for him. The issue is as well that with Sweden, they limit testing them on this upper tunnels and B control, is that they're actually forcing Adron to use his util really early. And that's the big issue. This Molotov actually is going to force another fight. BTN, he's a known quantity. They just know exactly where he is because he ticked in that first flame.
I wasn't thinking that it was going to spread all the way. I thought BTN had a slight safe haven, but one tick and he falls. Adron still trying to make that rifle work, but both of them have been pieced out in this one.
Picked up though.
Yeah, and armor on Jakarta. He'll get to the scene of the crime as soon as he possibly can. Nilo will lead the charge, tip of the spear, clearing out Carr, but Jakarta reigns supreme. Finally a flash to get him off the angle, and Plopsky will do it himself. 8-2 now goes Sweden, and Romania just, I mean, I think it's just the firepower that just can't keep up at this point.
Yeah, like you said, it's that rifling core. They're just really, really good. Like the one, what feels like stark advantage is Zello, just because of how good he is. We're all going to get that double AWP out. Now, Raga likes to AWP. He used to primary AWP on this side before Zello joined, back when he was on like Sprout and all that. It was always Raga with AWP, but I will say definitely not to that same sort of level. It's a bit more of a passive style of AWPing generally for him, but he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. He's got for his nade, breaks open the smoke. They might have actually just spotted a drone crossing towards that right side too. I like this.
Aggression here from Zello to try and find that opening 5v4. Still worried about some mid presence, so he smokes it off. But he actually wants to find a head, and Zello hits the no-scope. He tries to go for a third. Maybe a little overzealous, but these double ops are singing to life here in round number 11. Better late than never for Romania.
Just like we said as well, that Zello double, that's what they need. That's how they're going to find rounds in their favor. Get Zello super aggro. He loves this shotgun AWPing style of play. Jakarta makes a move on timing. Pushing out long doors, sees no presence. Actually, that player moving out from suicide. Raga in via window. Nilo might want to jump on box here. It's a good angle to play from. He knows he's in window as well. Raga loses his head. And Nilo can win rounds like this, though. He has it up his sleeve because he has the time, too. And he has the mechanics. Jakarta answers back with a swing on the trade. He didn't expect the second, but Nilo, good effort.
Bomb was dropped lower, so he had to take those gunfights, and good on Jakarta to never shirk back there. Even though Nilo would have to recover the bomb, he's basically giving a chance for Nilo to swing into him. So instead, he plays the aggressive role and immediately trades it out. A little dicey for Romania and way too close for my liking, but at this point, any round is what they need. It doesn't really matter as far as economy is concerned. They need these 4 rounds.
Yeah, basically the worst thing Jakarta could have done there was actually just stay passive.
Like tuck back, yeah.
Aggression's still out here, the MP9, gonna be a nuisance. Raga does really, really well. We'll try and expect it. No, his shadow betrays him. Raga gets a second, and he falls back. I like that, that's smart. There's no point pushing through, just keep the numbers in your favor. Don't give needless kills back over towards Sweden. Don't give them an in route back in towards this side.
Maybe middle will be that option for Sweden as they go contacting through. Smoke in, but they're through that, and Nilo hits the headshot instantaneously. There's still legs to this one for Sweden as Adron is stuck in B, and Raga's got a barrel spotted. Blink and you miss it. 5v3 turns 3v3, and now with a minute left on the clock, Plopsky can cook.
There's that sort of needless kill we were talking about. Oh, I love this when Plopsky's made his way through. Nilo going to get a kill onto Jakarta, who was trying to flank in. It worked last round this time. Held 4, and Lumi hits a big one on towards BTN. That should be the round as well. Adron he's not in a great position to be able to deny this.
Yeah, and there's just no way you're clearing CT. There's no way of even considering that it's a possibility. And he'll fall. A sublime T-half here from Sweden. Genuinely, I mean, the macro looked fantastic throughout this game, but in that round there, you also see just how clean they are and how instinctual that 3v5 looked. They hear that AWP ring out in middle, and they don't shy away from it. They realize that they can go 1-for-1 at the very least. And then they just bleed out information. They force the Romanians' hands. And now they're in pole position to just nab away Romania's Dust 2 pick, making them look a little red in the face after all that good work, all that of an upset in the previous for Romania. Now they're already against the ropes.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a weird spot that they're in. This pistol round is a necessity. We don't find it here. We're probably already talking about curtains on Dust 2. And with Mirage being Sweden's pick up next, does definitely worry us a little bit. Adam, he's holding. He has support of Shine. Shoulder spotted there. Good flashes on the timing, but he's actually completely ineffective. This is a really awkward fight for Plopsky because he gets caught in no man's land.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely not expecting as many bodies there. As soon as the shoulder's spotted, they're thinking that they can just flash through and reaggress, but everybody hitting their shots for Romania. And now Lumi thrust into a 1v4, finds one to make this a little bit more doable with no kit and absolutely no information in this post. He's just going to have to hit some blinders. Double peek is there, and Romania capitalized through sheer numbers. They live to fight another day here on Dust 2, and now they can get that Dust 2 T-side rolling as well.
Yeah, really important pistol round for them. I mean, we have to spiral. We have to talk about Pistol Force first 2 gun rounds to be in for the chance of making this work for them. Whether they can or not, that is the question. Of course, I'm not going to see a buyout for Sweden. I'm happy, but I'm also sad because I'm waiting for that failed force buy to now be 4 times. We've had not a single successful force buy on the CT side after losing the pistol so far this tournament. So low buy, not expecting a lot. The one upgraded pistol of that CZ out of B is already down.
Well, should be an easy time for these SMGs to rack up some cash, but it's the rifles to do a little bit of work. Zella would have liked that extra one, but actually, net positive for BTN.
Yeah.
Gets a little bit of confidence with finding his second kill, and also gets some SMG cash kill bonus as well. Jakarta will finish it off, and Romania have a near flawless anti-eco.
Yeah, money in the bank as well with those Mac 10s, but then also upgraded them to the AK right at the end there for a drawn. So, yeah, simple stuff. Ultimately, Romania now going to come in towards their buy. Actually going to go for the Furia buy. This is, in my opinion, the best way to play these sort of rounds. This is how Fury have been doing it for a while now, and they're actually one of the only teams who've been doing it at the tier 1 level, but it's the right way to go about, in my opinion, CT sides. You lose a pistol, don't force it towards the second, MP9s in towards your first investment, just because of how strong they are and the amount of cash that you can kind of build up. I mean, MP9s are basically broken at the moment in CS2. That's a missed CT smoke, and it ends up leading Nilo into a freebie. Repost up as well. It's a really strong angle to hold from with that scout. Jakarta out. Still gets a kill of his own, but it feels dicey. I mean, John's in that 1 bullet kind of death range, and they're fighting slightly scrappily, and Nilo's going to fall away.
I mean, beautiful shot to pull the attention back for Sweden into middle, but Raga finding one of his own makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's a snake in the grass of Lumi to find one, make it a double, and now Jakarta out. That late insurance policy off of Long has now got to recover the bomb, find 3 players, and has already been spotted out as well. Nilo can really just send pot shots down car if he feels like it, but either way, this should be a lock and key type of round for the CTs.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Molly comes down. Should make this what feels like a done affair. I mean, the bomb is just in such an awkward spot. Flash is brilliant. Jakarta's back betrays him. His ass was sticking out around that corner. Kyle Lowry-esque.
Kyle Lowry-esque.
And it will be Sweden with that 10th. They're so close now, but again, this is that fury and investment that we talk about, right? Where MP9s is like your primary investment in towards your first gun round. It's so strong because even if you lose the round, you can actually still buy into MP9s again in the next.
I mean, even in that situation, you could buy rifles because if you get SMG kills, you're getting enough, and the loss bonus is built up because it's third stage.
Exactly.
It's a risky one, but there are some pros to it for sure.
Nade could do a decent chunk, but actually get just a bit in front of it. Opening kill to go the way pretty early. Oh, Zello here. T-Zello upping on Dust2 can be a little hard, but he's the sort of the right style of play which should actually make this incredibly strong. We know he's somebody who's very aggressive, relies on himself, shotgun AWPing style. This is where Dust2 gives you a lot of good lines of sight. So Lurks are going to come out towards short, but at the same time they throw it, they're met with a Molotov. Again, just to slow them down for a moment. But Sweden sort of have to get proactive in a minute. At a numbers disadvantage, they're already getting starved of information. They've got to try and find some sort of idea. Hence why it feels like a double mid play might be where they look into. They might even get good timing on the wrap. I mean, Zello's made a step there, so that might even indicate them to push through doors. And now it's like U comes raining in towards a Baron A site. They've got to start going quick.
They hedge all their bets in the middle, thinking that split's going to come through. It's a 50-50 gamble, but they choose incorrectly. And now Romania finding a plant in this 4v5. And how fragile CT economy can be, I would call for a save, but Plopsky's going to have a look in, trying to find a head off of this short side. And finally one gets spotted. He hits the dink, but not the frag, and that's when BTN strikes from the site. And now Sweden will have to fall away, and they've lost 2 rifles on top of it.
It's actually a really nice setup as well there in that post bomb by Romania, because they just know that we're going to play off trades. Just play off the fact that we do have the numbers advantage, and play off the fact that for Sweden, that retake is actually really difficult. The good news is for them is that the guns saved for them are really strong. We saved an AWP, we saved an AK, and we are going to buy in around it as well. Nilo's going to have no issues in terms of his investment, and in a kind of a worst case scenario, we can get a drop over from Adam or from Lumi towards like some kind of Shine who's on shy of 3k. So they can make something work. I mean, even if Shine goes in towards like an MP9, if they can get him in towards like lower tunnels, it's still an incredibly strong position to play from with a gun of that kind of caliber.
Nilo will purchase into the Scout, so they'll have double scopes in this one.
They're half buyer here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a guaranteed purchase in the following. There's still a little bit of potency here. You can start pouring some resources into Lumi and try to get him involved.
Yeah.
And straight away, there was a tag through the mid doors, and Zello will have to be a little bit more careful. And there it is, the proactivity, trying to play ahead of some utility there in short side. And Adam B strikes straight away.
That's a gun.
Recoverable.
Yeah, he's got Shine in support of him too, so we can actually go and say to Shine, go and get that gun picked up. AK from right saying.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. AK and a Molotov too, so pretty important set of util. He's now got to wheel. The only worrying thing is he doesn't have armor. Nilo is glass cannon on that Scout. For another spot where for Sweden, numbers advantage, it still doesn't actually feel like they've got the advantage just yet in terms of the round momentum itself.
Yeah, they still don't have short presence. They still have that worry about middle with the recycling of the CT smoke.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to go for something a little bit unorthodox. Shine gets boosted up. And I'll have some sight lines on a CT, so maybe they can call some rotations. AWP of Lumi does get caught out, though. That flash is fantastic from a drone. And now everybody from the CT side are scampering back in. Adam B finds one, Shine with another, and Shine with a double. Shine has a round for himself. What a play there from the youngster.
Definitely been the reservations about Shine when he got picked up from Eyeballers, but my God, made his presence known in this one. Had a quiet game, but he picks his moment. He picks it brilliantly to give Sweden yet another round on the board and just to deny that pressure that Romania were building upon. Individuality shines out for him, and Sweden get ever closer to stealing away Romania's map pick, and not only just doing it, but doing it actually in fashion, doing it in style.
Yeah, backed into a corner there as well were Sweden. That's legitimately the only way they win that round. Him going nuclear on the retake, and he finds a way to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Magician of sorts.
Ooh.
And now you're getting some spam connecting from Nilo as well. Not confirmed, mind you, but Romania will still net themselves some short control.
I mean, Chicago and BTN are actually in a really Oh, I'm going to say feeble spot. God, Faz on 1 point of HP. He's so lucky that he's at the back there, not in the pack.
Yeah.
If he's in the pack, he's dead. Oh, rotates back over. Luby with that scout, may I say. Does get a tag, and he actually finds the body shots, and he looks for a second. Damage dealt by him is so important. Look at the HP across the board. Chicana, 1 point. Down he goes. Zello for a big double. That's actually really important, but Nilo's still here, and he might actually still get them across. He's still alive himself. Both BTN and Adron are in a 1 bullet headshot range. So it's still a real awkward predicament that they're in. And this flank's got a bit of timing from that T side. Plopsky could have been a bit of pressure, under a bit of pressure here, but he's holding for it. He does well, and the move from Nilo is excellently played. Nilo and Plopsky done so well there just to not overface. They could have easily moved up in towards shore and tried to take fights in through that smoke, and they opted against it. And it gives Sweden now a 12-6. They're on track for an incredibly one-sided first map here.
Yeah, unfortunately, BTN just not there. I mean, trying to lurk in that situation when you've got your bomb stuck on the site. Really unfortunate circumstance in the man-even situation for Romania, but Sweden capitalized, that experience shining here. And now they've got a lower setup to try and deal with these pesky pistols. One last attempt here for Romania, getting smashed to pieces here as Adam B and Nilo run rampant in the lower tunnels. It's all up to Adron, the stand-in looking to step up, but with how little he has in this round, we're looking at a 1-0 start for Sweden in the series, trying to just manhandle their way into that grand final, and that certainly will be the case. Sweden have themselves a fantastic showing to kick off this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due. They actually made that look incredibly easy. I think everybody had their moment in the spotlight, but it's got to be said, I mean, as much as maybe the numbers don't fly away for like the star players or that core rifle, I think Plopsky actually calls really well. Especially on that T side, he just pulled them apart so easily. They weren't really under too much pressure. The timing was excellent. They just weren't rushing things. They know that they have a lot of small things in the right place that can work for them. I think we even spoke about that kind of sort of limit testing that they were doing. Upper B control being taken constantly, putting a lot of pressure on the stand-in as well of Adron, and actually just forcing Raga to over-rotate in towards that B side. So it was really, really uncomfortable at times, and you could just see how really Romania never got going. So an awkward map for them, and the fact that it's their map pick does not help as Mirage is up next. But of course, before we get to any of that, we've got the desk and the boys to break it down.
Yes, indeed, Sweden one map to the good after a stellar T-side. And guys, we need to talk about Nilo. He was stunning on that first half. He's meant to just be the B-lurker, the tunnels player, and he's getting ridiculous amount of kills. This kid is a star of the future, no doubt.
Yeah, he's the best player at the tournament. And again, we talked about Bora's individual skill. I think the one guy who you'd place probably number 2 on that list in terms of just overall ability is Nilo. He's been fantastic for quite some time already now. Again, I'm baffled by the fact that he's still not being picked up by a more tenured team, but you know, all he can do is do what he's doing right now, which is dominate his opponents at whatever tournament he goes to. And I think we got to see that now. Yeah, doesn't really matter where he plays, what role he's meant to have. He's just going to be better than his opponents in most situations, and that's a massive benefit from Sweden. And I think that's why they're running away with Dust 2, which is Romania's map pick, in a rather confident way.
Yeah, just so sharp, Nilo, honestly. He's got that really snappy aim, which means he can kind of win fights he never should, and he can get you into moments where you should never have a chance. This was all Team Sweden, though, honestly. And this, to me, looked like a team who have good skill, but also great discipline against a team in Romania who, I've got to be honest, their discipline was pretty awful in this game. I think on multiple occasions, even when they would get advantages, they just continue to fight when they didn't need to. And for me, Sweden were masterful at knowing when they needed to fight and when they needed to just sit back. Romania were the opposite. All they can do is fight, it seems. That's the only way they can win rounds, and that is frustrating. Even that 1v4 that Nilo had the chance in, Romania gave him a few chances to have those one-on-one duels, and for me, that's the big difference between these two teams. Sweden have got that ability to know when they need to fight, when they don't, and that was a big benefit to them alongside those star players.
We saw from Zello that, particularly towards the end of that first half, he was trying real hard to force the issue. He had one round where he pushed lower and it did work. He had other rounds where it didn't. He's trying to be the hero But as we've said throughout this show so far, we can't expect him to maintain his level from the group stage. It can't be a one-man army when you're playing a team with depth. They need more options, and Zello can't take it all upon himself.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the issue we run into, the fact that he is very aware of the fact that if he doesn't play well, if he doesn't dominate, they don't beat Sweden. Simple as that. So he's just he's trying to create his own moments, as you said. He's kind of forcing it. But I think you do kind of end up feeling a little bit choked out when you're playing a team versus Sweden, because Sweden are not giving you a whole lot of opportunities to really find openings, etc. I think Neo kind of alluded to the fact that it was patient, calm, you know, methodical from Sweden on Dust 2. It was just going through the motions, and if you go through the motions and you kind of tick off every box that you have on your way to a bomb site, then yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities for an Opper to really pick you apart in that much sense, unless you do something unorthodox, unless you get a little bit more aggressive than maybe you normally do, or what is expected of you. And that's also how you get end up in dicey situations that you can't necessarily escape from either. And I think we saw that from him on quite some occasions. And I don't think it's helped starting CT side as well, considering the economy, the fact that we see Sweden winning the pistol, they get off to a hot start, you get one shot in an op, you lose the first Byron, and there's not that many opportunities for you to kind of shine from that point on.
Yeah, the CT side start was maybe a little tough for Romania. I think that you could kind of see that they were trying to go for these aggressive moves at times, and all credit to Sweden, they handled it really well on every occasion. And then you saw Romania start to panic a little and go, oh boy, okay, these aggressive plays aren't working. We might be in trouble. And that was a problem for them, because when they were trying to rotate and when they were trying to assist on bomb sites, you saw those nades just not be there or just be too late, and those timings weren't quite on point. And so Sweden, honestly, fantastic performance, and it looks to me like they know exactly what to expect from Romania. They've planned for it well, and they're executing exactly what they need to.
Let's look ahead towards Mirage. We know, at least in a lot of events for Romania, when they're playing as Nexus, they don't like this map. They've only won it twice in the last 10. Medisport do like this map. They'll pick it into many a team. Guys, this is squaring up for a 2-0, isn't it?
It is building up that way. Sweden have already played Mirage, 3 times here so far. They've beaten Permita, they've beaten Huns, and one additional team as well. So they're feeling in fine form on Mirage. They have no reason to necessarily fear it. And then especially considering the fact that, yeah, Nexus or Romania, not massive fans of it. So they're not going to be as comfortable. Again, even more so than on Dust 2, I think you're going to need heroics, from an individual on the side of Romania. And I don't really see how that's going to happen when you have a Sweden team that, as you said, Romania were trying to get aggressive plays in, finding weird timings to potentially backstab or cause havoc, and you could just tell whether it's Plopsky, Adam, B, Lumi, or Shine, didn't really matter. Everyone on Sweden kind of just had eyes in the back of their necks, just knowing oh yeah, no, I should turn around now, because apparently that's a common timing for them. So yeah, there's just no avenues for Romania to find openings, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same here going into Mirage. That's just the gut feeling I'm sitting with.
Yeah, had Adam B with the aggressive rifling, getting some good rounds. He was maybe a bit hit or miss, but when he was getting entries, it was impactful. And as you said, even Shine at the end there, showing up with an impressive multi-kill. Really, really sharp from him. And if that's what your in-game leader's pulling off, you're in good shape. I still think Lumi, for me, is the weak point on this team. I'm going to say I think that the AWP difference is pretty big here, but I don't think it matters at all. The difference elsewhere is just so big that, yeah, sure, Mirage is a map that anyone can play, and Romania can probably at least get some rounds, but yeah, it's not looking good, bruv.
Is the best chance for Romania just to fully unleash Zello? I know they might have lived and died by the sword in map 1, but is it just fundamentally they've just got to unleash him and let him do his own stuff, because he's their only way to get into rounds and get a big advantage?
I mean, I guess at the very least to try to set up, any sort of openings to rounds, maybe that's your best calling card. If he wants to pick T-Pit, if he wants to pick mid, whatever he wants to do, just kind of use most of your resources to accommodate for that, see where that leads you at the very least. But it doesn't seem like, again, if you have a 20% win rate on the map, you're likely not having an answer right now. You haven't figured it out up to this point. That much is clear. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to find that magical solution now, going up against probably one of the better Mirage teams that they've played against in quite some time.
It also feels different. Like you said, there's something about the way he's doing it today that feels like he knows he needs to do it. It's out of necessity. It feels a little forced at times. Whereas if you know you're winning rounds already as a team and you're relying more on your teammates, you're not going to go for it every single round. You kind of know occasionally I can sit back and it'll be fine. So I do want to see him have the ability to do what he wants, but I don't want him to feel like he has to do it every single round to give them a chance. That's the important distinction there.
Oh, scary times for Romania. We need a miracle on Mirage. It looks like Sweden are set for a 2-0. Quick break, and when we're back, we'll see if this series indeed can't go past second map. We'll see you then.
That was pretty quick, wasn't it? I mean, there really wasn't that much of a competition, unfortunately. Romania, on their own map pick, get decimated quite easily, and it's a worrying sign that we now put ourselves in because Sweden, we know how good they can be on this Mirage, right? And the real worrying thing for us is that it's the questions of how do we actually get Romania back into this. This is it's on paper a punish pick.
Yeah, the firepower is an extreme issue for Nexus/Romania, and now on the other side of the equation, I just think the system for Metasport/Sweden looks so comfortable on this map. It's where they really made a name for themselves. When they were playing with it with ZTR, it was a map that they would pick literally almost every best of three
like
that they would have.
One of the few teams picking Mirage, right?
Yes,
Not just floating.
regularly. And they had like an extremely high win percentage. I think somewhere at 70 to 80% off of like 30 maps played. So genuinely, it's been a staple for them for ages. And I think Plopsky has seen how well that's worked for ZTR. That he's adapted a lot of those ideas here. And I think this T side is going to get very, very dangerous for Romania to deal with. We'll see what the ideas go for here, but in this situation, I think Plopsky gets even more scary with how he likes to take mid control and individually play on this team. And Nilo with that kind of Rops-ish role in taking care of App's presence. So we'll watch how this T side develops, but get ready for some exciting CS there from the Ts.
Yeah, Sweden look like they're setting up for a pretty standard B pop, all in all. But Zello's actually got a really nice flank here. This timing could be pretty excellent. Rapping his way forward, but he might go the wrong way. No, he can double back.
Oh.
Ragga's timing is excellent. They're just not going to expect it. As long as a drone can just slow them down for a brief moment, no, don't go under. And then also hearing steps towards ramp. This is awkward. There's 2 different fights on 2 different fronts, but Zello gets 2 different kills. So that'll help him. Nilo then says, you can do it, so can I. As Chicano gets dropped. His flank is still pretty huge though, but is he being held for? He might be now. He's made noise for Ragga. He's got to go. Nice shot. The second's got to follow in quick succession, or he could be under a lot of pressure. He's got to buy time for that short rotate, and it just comes a little late. Zello, quad clutch needed from him. First 2 he found over towards A. The second he needs to drop them on B, and in quick fashion. Doesn't have a kit anymore. Get his head ripped off his shoulders. It's a big start from Sweden. It was incredibly hairy at one point though, just because of those double flanks that were on.
Yeah, and again, it's Nilo to dig them out of it individually. I mean, genuinely, with how easy Zello was able to get rid of the A-lurk, you start to get a little worried for Sweden. Even if Ragga makes the wrong decision and goes down into underpass for that split second, there's still that potency of having to deal with it very early on.
Yeah.
And yet Sweden find a way through. Now you have a chance for them to just run rampant with these defaults with guns as well. And that's where you have to get a little bit frisky with these Zeuses and these close range pistols, but already being dealt with by Shine comfortably.
Ooh. Shine doesn't opt to stick around there. He was just worried about maybe about a bit of too much that presence was lower. But fights are for the most part isolated with ease, and Shine who's doubling back now. He's insurance policy. One spotted, and actually Plopsky dinked in towards top mid, but it's just not going to change the outcome of this round. Sweden not breaking too much of a sweat. Should get the second here. Bomb going to go down, which more or less confirms things. And Nilo, he wants those kills. He knows where Zello is. Just don't go in towards the Zeus is the main thing, but he gets flashed anyway. So didn't have a chance in hell. Only the one casualty. You're not too worried.
A little smirk there from Nilo. He heard that Zeus go off as well. Not too far off the mark, but
just about a meter above him.
Yeah, good flash.
Like
good
a firework.
Very funny. And now the guns come out for Romania.
Glass cannon all.
And yeah, it looks like a glass cannon out for Zello. Wants to take matters into his own hands.
That's ballsy.
Yeah.
This early on, especially when you know there's a Mac 10 on the other side.
Yeah.
That's a big call to make.
I mean, this is the star calling his own shots.
Yeah.
Backing himself. I admire the tenacity, but can he actually net some impact with said glass cannon up? We'll see. Right now, kind of maneuvering around the map, showcasing a little bit in window, but now moving back into CT. Swapping spots with his captain, and just a B execute right off rip here. Sweden is considering at this point. And with Shine trying to sell something on that A side, players start to get pulled over.
Go, Nilo flying his way out. He wants to fight, and he's happy to fight as well. But Johnson actually really well just to buy time. That alone is enough because it allows BTN to rotate in and get that trade nice and quickly. But Luby's hit an absolute scorch of a shot. On top into his back pillar actually limits a bit of what Zello can do, but he just had a gap. The tiniest gap in that flame puts it all down to Shine. 1v3, it feels impossible. And he's not going to be given the cross. That glass cannon, he's anything but feeble. Really well done from Zello for 2 there. And even without armor, he's so happy to fight.
Yeah, and the superstar backing works out for himself. He backs himself and he finds that level of impact. So now Sweden will have to complicate the default a little bit more now, considering a straight B execute didn't necessarily work. Yes, you had that little bit of a sell factor from Shine on the other end, but it just wasn't strong enough. It didn't really have bodies being thrown at the A site, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. Nilo trying to go for a hero play with that Deagle, but Zello clips him straight out of the apartments.
That's just what he can do, right?
Yeah.
Zello is so happy to fight so early into these rounds. I mean, this is as unfortunate as the non-starter, really. We should, though, I think we should be able to get an AWP in towards this next round, especially if they get a bomb plant, because, you know, Nilo on 3.3, 1.9 loss. Actually, nah, not really.
I mean, if you want to go glass,
yeah.
but I don't think Sweden is going to do that the other way.
It's not worth it as well, just because Lumi has his prevalence on that AK is at the same vein.
Exactly,
They'd rather have Nilo with the full belt of util rather than, and the armor rather than the glass cannon. Shots from BTN. Only he has a couple of pixels to work with, but it's more than enough.
Now Zella getting activated from Cat, and Romania will keep it clean. 5 alive here, building a little bit of a bank balance. And now Sweden, as we said, kind of expected that they bring out 5 rifles here, and they absolutely will commit to that philosophy. But now I want to see that stock standard default that I love so much from Sweden, and how they kind of play around Nilo.
Yeah. I mean, we're actually looking at them now as well with that full belt of utility to actually showcase what they do best, which is these double pump XCs, these fakes that they're very good at dragging rotations over with. That's where they're going to find gaps, right? We saw them do it quite a lot where, because Adron looked just a little bit uncomfortable over towards B side alone, it was forcing him to play doubled up with Raga, dragging him off mid. So these small little things that they were doing so well on the T side, they want to try and do it again. But it's Zello who, once again, gets another opener with that AWP. And that's not going to slow him down. He might actually use that to push his way forward. He's already starting to kind of rotate back over towards B. He might try and take a bit of short presence late here. Plopsky now with ladder room control. It's a good spot that they find themselves in for Sweden. They're not exactly in a uncomfortable map control spot. It's just, how do they utilize this?
Yeah, I mean, can potentially split into Cat here, and that's got to be the incision that opened things up. But Adron steps up tall. Shine will find another. And now, as we go back and forth in middle, Romania retains the man advantage. 45 seconds left on the clock. Molly up on short side, and they're going to look to kind of pincer into Raga here. The vet of this Romanian side has to step up massively, but he's been spotted. He's only got a flash to stall at this point. Molotov can come in, and he's going to have to get flushed in to that connector side, but he finds a safe haven under balcony. 25 seconds. We've got to go, boys. T-side has to find another little bit of an opening. It's all up to Adam B now in the clutch. 1v3 turned 1v2, and Adam B will close out another. It's all up to Zello. He's recovered a rifle. 13 seconds. Bomb dropped in top of Khan. He's got to go for the gunfight, and Adam B clutches up.
Big round from Adam. That 1v3 is actually so well played. The only mistake that Sweden actually make there is that Lumi just got to get that kill in towards the underpass player, but he still does so well. The other bulk player, may I say, but he does so well, Adam. Isolating fights, making sure the trades are good, and actually the one thing that Romania that kills them in that round is that they isolate themselves. No trades, no playing off each other. Real tough spot that they put themselves in. Another little pit stop as well for Adam, and he deserves it off the back of that 1v3.
Yeah, a hard-earned upper decky. Well, look, I think the problem there for Romania is that as soon as Plopsky takes contact off of Cat side, you're thinking that, okay, maybe there's an additional bit of T side action coming onto that B side. And they commit a double player, another player there with Zello's AWP on that end. And it sells enough. It sells enough of a play there.
Yeah, it's actually unfortunate. I think the one glaring error for me is the fact that Adam gets that easy kill on CT. That's
that should never be happening.
If the player until CT tugs, the round's won because of timing. They had 19 seconds when he's taking that first engagement in the 1 versus 3, and the bomb's dropped over towards jungle. If CT
they should be aware that the bomb is down as well, considering the bomb planter, the guy that was holding the bomb initially fell.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That the only real mistake that I think Lumi, sorry, Raga, may I say, when he falls over towards,
does his job,
when he falls over towards top bulk, it's whatever. He's already low, and actually he's an information gatherer. He's basically cannon fodder, just to be like, okay, what's the timing on this little 1 versus 3? It's just about CT there because you're buying time for Zilla to rotate over towards jungle. But even then, even if he falls, you've still got the insurance policy. So it's I mean that's the glaring error there. A big round for Sweden, of course. We're still led by. It's a great flash, but he does well for 2. I'm actually surprised he gets away with that second.
3v4 4 now for Sweden as they still continue this A attack. Zello and BTN will make sure that this stops immediately. They cannot just simplify these rounds. They're going to have to earn them just a little bit more. They try an A contact, they try a B contact, or B execute rather, and neither of them work. Romania showing that they will not get pushed over, pushed aside on this Mirage.
Yeah, the one actually kind of, the one round where you just want to see them slow it down into a default, they actually go for something a little bit different. They try and punish them off the back of a bad round lost and just try and say, okay, sure, we're now going to step up the pace a little bit. But BTN read into it so well. Great flash from him for a double for Raga. And he just knew that they were going to try something a little bit quicker, hence why he wants to get Raga in quickly, because Raga's actually been playing back over towards kind of back default, front triple area for the most part in these early rounds. So a nice little change up in pace from the CT side to re-aggress. Adam does want to once again fight, but again, the firepower is really rough, and they have opted to buy here, though.
Yeah, they're in a double eco situation. I think they're just kind of forced to. A lot of mid-control taken, late mid-control taken from Sweden. And now, they're going to have to re-aggress the CTs to find an answer. But Jakarta falls, and so cat side has a little bit of an opening. This B side under threat. Adam B could have found another, but not to be. Minute now left on this clock. You've got a player stuck in a window, and I think it's a drone that should be hot under the collar here, considering now the T side have made their way into CT spawn.
Oh, hang on. That tag on towards BTN does make this a little worrying too, where that potential scout could really get a lot of leg room. Bomb going to go down in a, a pretty important round for Sweden just because of that force. You lose this, the economy's broken. Not only the Romania found a fourth, but they probably get gifted a fifth. And now it's anything but. This is difficult, time ticking. We do have double kits to work with, and the belt of util on towards Zello, who's got that full HP. Oh, Nilo has not been cleared. That scout shot is immaculate, but it's all down to him now. The pistol's actually the best play here. He knows he body shot Zello earlier. Smoke goes a little shallow. It's planted 4 short, and Zello might just stick this. Time ticking, he might just stick it. Leg spotted, and Lumi does well. If Zello had tucked just a little bit towards the left, he probably wins that round.
Yeah, I mean, even then, maybe it gets a little dicey there. Lumi does very well to find that headshot. I know we didn't see the POV of it, but that's a tough shot to hit when you've got a player swinging as quickly as he does. And Nilo just finding that dink, making it a doable situation. If he's not dinked there, that's where the scout has to come out, and I actually don't think he wins the round there. And I think Romania pulls it off, but Sweden with the complete force buy, all-in risk from them pays off.
Yeah.
And now Romania have to call attack because you got to look at the issues now. Jakarta on a FAMAS, Braga on a 5-7, and absolutely no utility to speak of across the board. You've got 1 smoke and 2 flashes. How do you stop Sweden from taking mid? How do you stop them from having these crazy extremity plays off of Apps and Palace? It's just not possible. You're just going to have to let them play their own game.
It is that sort of age-old question now of how Romania want to try and utilize this force bite. And these are the sort of rounds where I do like seeing a bit of proactivity. Try and actually just catch them off guard, as they did earlier with that Raga double open over towards ramp, right? Something like that where you just change the tempo a little bit. Don't allow Sweden to get a default and set it up. They've gone back towards that mid-control that you spoke of. At the same time as presence and notoriety of towards mid is known, they're making a move in through B-ups. I mean, look how much information they're getting.
Yeah, they've got to rotate quickly. That 4th player of Raga has got to move back over, but they've advanced his default a little bit quicker, and there's 3 points of attack coming in onto this A site. Raga's got to hustle because this A site is truly under threat.
Yeah, good work. Little 1-2 combo. Adam Smolly. Lumi with a kill. Oh, it's so uncomfortable from Zello there. One of the rare times where you see him just really look mechanically weak, and he gets caught. Jakarta, and he got a 5-7 for him. He is on for a good timing of the flank, but it just shouldn't really make that much of a difference. He can't even get his kill. Flawless for Sweden, all 5. And Adam, great reaction. Quick little flick back over towards ramp. Sweden extend the lead to 2 and shatter that econ. So they basically should guarantee that on this T side of the second most statistically T side map in the pool, CT side map in the pool, they're going to guarantee bare minimum a draw. That for me is already an absolute win in my books.
And every maneuver that Plopsky is going through with here is working for them for the most part. I mean, sure, these set pieces haven't been clean, but the defaults have done all the damage so far. All-out aggression here in middle with these upgraded pistols, and now it's time for Plopsky to get his sweet eeks. Oh, beautiful little flick there onto his counterpart, and it's all up to Jakar now. And it's a nice little eco ace there for Plopsky.
Feed him, and he shall feast. Lovely, lovely little eco ace.
Those are the first 5 kills of the game for him.
Yeah.
He's got 5 now.
And
That's
all
funny.
the people see is the stats. No, it's not how you get them, it's just that you do get them. That's my MO, right?
Oh, I know.
That is the
I know.
Cole X and McHenry special right there. Did you say ecos? Yes, please. 6-3 though, Sweden. Man, what a spot they're in at the moment. It's once again, it puts so much pressure on towards this gun run. If Romania loses gun run, we could be talking about Sweden once again putting up something like a 9-3 half.
Zello playing close up against this smoke, and he finds his man in Shine. Plopsky was still there, but couldn't find him in all the chaos. But now, as that happens, Adam B wants to capitalize on all this apartment space. They find a drone, and they find Jakardo. Zello's isolated here alone. He's got to stay alive for long enough to get a rotation in, and he'll live to fight another day. But Raga goes through, and Adam B is there to trade 2v2. You've got to favor the T's.
Yeah, and they know where Zello is, right? So this is the really awkward thing, is that they can just hard focus his position. They should plant for sure, because they know that they can sort of play off this. But, Adam, if you're going to go for that, you've got to hit that shot. Now let's get into that 1 versus 2. Might be a chance. Here's Plopsky. Got to lead by example. We know he's got that caliber to be able to do so on this rifle. And he hears them rotating in. He doesn't need to swing. That molly won't spread on towards him either, so buying time is huge. But 2 swings from Sweden, and both of them big misses.
A little overzealous there from Adam B. I think that feels more like a heat check peak.
Yeah.
But he doesn't clear that hurdle. And Romania nab back and forth. It definitely feels like one that was gifted to them in some senses.
Yeah, I think Adam's thinking he's playing over towards the left-hand side of short, because you see when he comes out, all his focus is on there. So they're thinking it's actually a double rotate that way, that Zello's waiting for his support from BTN, who's the A player.
Yeah, maybe.
He completely overlooks right side.
I think that's definitely. I mean, the problem is though is that you're playing a 50-50 situation there,
and I would tag too.
Yeah, I would rather play the percentages there and play some really difficult post plants for Romania to deal with on the site proper. Either way, Lumi wants to forget all about that previous round as he goes fighting for that opener, and sure, he's taken out by Zello, but Adam B is there for the trade. And I was gonna say Shine as well, but Zello now does it with the rifle, taking matters into his own hands with a beautiful triple.
Yeah, say what you want about Romania. Zello hasn't slowed down even for a brief moment here in this series. Should be a freebie there. Raga's timing is excellent as Nilo did already sort of look in that spot. Just he double checks back over towards that bench swing. He's Adam all alone. 1v3, which shouldn't amount to too much. And this does give at least Romania that chance of the recovery, that chance at making this, I'm going to say a 6-all game. Adam gets consolation. A nice response back. Romania recovered well these couple of rounds.
Yeah, they navigate through the set pieces, and now they're navigating through these defaults as well. Showing a little bit of an adaptation, finding answers. I think this is Sweden's first time out of the entire series.
No, not the series. They called one third round.
Oh, right, yeah, it was like third round, very early.
Super early.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised, because funny enough, Sweden do that a lot. Metasport
does that all the time.
It's super common for them. The second win or lose on a gun round, they actually like to call timeouts just to discuss what
sometimes they chain to timeouts at the early stages.
Just to basically say, this is what we've noticed. This is where maybe the gaps will open up. They don't do it this time, interestingly enough, because Romania win that gun round. So the same thing happened on Dust 2. They call it, and then they responded well. This time, they don't call it, and they don't respond well.
We'll have a bye here either way to try and nab that 7th. And there are things that have been working. It's mid-control that has been very kind to them. It's these splits into this A site that has been very kind to them. And Romania have just got to find a little bit more success off of that B side and keep trying to take apps late to really put the pressure on Sweden when they do get in these advantageous positions. Zello now with the AWP to try and peer through underpass. Spots a shoulder but can't connect.
It's a hard shot.
Very hard.
Not many Orbals are going to be taking that fight, but obviously we know Zello backs himself. Once again, Sweden, we know we love this mid default. The only issue is we're actually struggling to then move forward from here because the split's just not been strong enough.
Yeah, they're trying to find some cat pressure or that con pressure, but there are resources being pumped in here by Romania. Double setups on either end, and now BTN looking to strike, but Plopsky finds one of his teammates in Zello, and that makes things mighty uncomfortable. Favorable trade for the T's as they want to go charging into this A bomb site, and they've chopped off Chikardao as well. Now things get very dangerous, and that flash is just slightly late. All up to a drawn now, and Sweden at the tail end find a 7th round. Surely their shine to close it out. And that's lovely in the grand scope of things for the favorites here.
It's not quite as dominant as that first map because they had a 9-3 there, but it's actually just the map in which they find a lead on the C side because it's Mirage in particular.
They've got a lockdown CDC
exactly
on this map.
And that's the big thing for us. It may feel like a relatively even map, but actually the way things are right now, it actually isn't. 7-5 on the T side, where we know how strong Metasport's CT protocols are. There is a distinct and clear disadvantage that Romania find themselves in. They've got to be lights out in this T side. They've got to get things started really early here. It was, easy to mention on Dust 2 as they're way back in, but it's kind of the same here where we need pistol force and first gun round to actually even be in for a chance.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. A chance, not even confirmation, right? So we'll see what they can do here. You've got a raid boss P250 on Zello. Romania love to do this. Let him have all the opportunity to succeed, and he absolutely has here on Mirage. 15 and 6 to start things out. That multi-kill percentage is very high.
Yeah.
But it's all to sell a little bit. It's caused a triple lean over to that B bomb site, but he's fallen, and that's the issue. They can re-aggress, they can clear this part of the map out, and with that smoke coming down onto this A bomb site, surely they know where the hit's coming.
They've got to, and they've got the numbers to support it as well. Lumi doing so well at range via jungle. Just be a nuisance. That's all he has to do. Swing coming through from Adam as well. This is actually an immaculate pistol. That is so well played. Even like a small thing there, right? Lumi takes first contact on towards that A site pop with the 3 making their way out. He gets the Palace player, but he gets dinked, right? So that's information gets relayed over, and then he just swaps positions with Adam. So Adam goes back in towards jungle, and they're thinking, that's Lumi, that's the player I've just dinked. So they're trying to fight him in a pug, and they're trying to body shot him, but Adam's happy to take fights there. He's got full HP.
Wonderful round there, even with the triple B lean, finding a way to get to the site as quick as possible. Shows that snappy attention to detail that Sweden have as far as their fundamentals go. Look at this, actually threw the Molotov, and Zello finds his man. Adam B, the A anchor falls, and there's a recoverable weapon. You'd like to think for Chikardao, finding his way to default. Nilo has no idea, and it's a double dink from Chikardao and then a finish off from Zello. Players continuing to drop like flies here on this A side, and that's not even where the bomb is headed. There's a consideration for that B finish, but now they're coming in through underpass.
They are. And Lumi has other ideas. He gets to. Oh, and recovery is actually ended up being pretty damn good. Unfortunately, Chikardao with this Glock. Expectations got to be pretty tempered, and they will. 9-5. Worrying spot that Romania have found themselves in, because the way things are panning out, they've actually basically got only 2 conclusive gun rounds if things continue at this sort of trajectory.
And I'd argue that this one, it feels even more important than that second attempt, right? Yeah. This is where Sweden's purchase has a couple of concessions, considering how Adam B fell, and they lost that second player in that full eco, so a lot hinging here on Zello, on Romania, and Zello wants to take matters into his own hands yet again, as he has, goes charging up the catwalk with no support, and Nilo, the opposing superstar, will shut him down. Instant 4v5 that BTN has to cook up, and I don't fancy his chances here, Neo.
I'm with you. Nade. Reach up that smoke a little bit. BTN gonna drop on his own. Oh, it still feels just a little shaky. Braga. It's actually unfortunate. The idea is quite nice there, but...
You think the reload baits him in?
Yeah, and I think also the other thing is just because as he uncrouches, a pixel of his head pokes above that smoke. I think he thinks it's plumed enough that he's actually got space there to maneuver. BTN will get a very important one. He's supports on the second.
What?
Oh, the crunching towards mid has completely killed them. And Lumi has got to go huge here, but it's still a very doable 1 versus 2. The only issue is he does not have a kit. He's still one towards top gone. He just can't transfer. Chikardao. Oh, I like the freeze call actually there from Romania because they know that they can actually just go on towards A and set up a plan, but they know as well that Lumi's going to try and make a move on a quick timing.
Right, they hear the drop down from window, so they know he's con side, and they toss some utility on the A, like deeper into the A site, more into the CT side onto jungle. And so I'm assuming that Lumi is considering that they're deeper at this point. I can work my way back up con. That's where he has to face both of the Romanian players. Genuinely a surprise for him. It's back to a low econ situation. Silver lining here for Romania as they really can dig their way back in.
Gotta say, it's a really big call in this sort of round for Sweden to actually go in towards that orb. Especially when you could have just gone for...
double rifle setup maybe,
yeah, exactly. Either double rifle setup to support the double MP9s and actually be a more of a conclusive buy, or even just something as small as just Lumi going in with like an MP9 or a 5.7 and then having the AWP next round on the full gun, or when they have it in towards the next guns. But either way, scratch that. Neither's found the kills. That's what matters. Or Shine jumping out to his demise. He just didn't expect Zello so far up close. Lumi doesn't want to go for that Molotov, and actually that decision alone probably maybe even course of the round.
Yeah, I mean, they're still definitely going to have a look, and you'd probably boost up Lumi off short side to see if he can get involved. But in a 3v4, man disadvantage bomb down, you're favoring the Ts, at least just slightly. You've got to have these SMGs, these close-range weapons, hit some long-range shots, or you've got to make this boost saying Lumi's had a good Mirage so far, and now he's got to find a little bit more impact here.
Yeah, it's time's ticking. I already think that it feels like they're slightly posturing for that save. P9 had to do a lot of work up close, and Kart and Raga, I thought head on the swivel there as he finds Adam. Neela gets one of his own too, but still, Lumi, he's out of there. 1 versus 2 with that AWP. And it's not even really the fact that it's the AWP retake, it's just the fact that he has no ult or no kit. So there's just no point giving it a go. And to add on top of it, no armor.
Yeah, there was no way there was going to be space there for him to work up.
And it goes back to what I was saying, the glass cannon decision with the AWP here feels a little weird, because actually in a weird way, having something like an MP9 or a 5.7 which can be a little gimmicky could have actually been maybe a bit more of an advantage there.
Yeah, possibly. Definitely a possibility, but either way, they'll retain that sniper, and Lumi will invest into Kevlar now. So Romania has a chance to cut this lead for Sweden down to 1. It definitely feels as though they're finding ways to punish what works so well for Sweden, and that's mid-control on both halves.
Yeah.
It's really tough to do. Very few teams against this squad can do it successfully, so BTN can hang his hat on that for sure.
Over that other game as well, Serbia took map number 1 incredibly easily.
On nuke.
13-6 against Rhino. This one feels like a non-starter. It's probably a good time to talk about it. I think Lumi once again is probably going to keep this AWP alive if he can. And he can't. Oh, that flank. That's actually the big issue there. Lumi falling means now doesn't even really have a conclusive buy in the next. So that's awkward.
Yeah.
But discussing over towards the other game, they're in map number 2. It's Serbia's pick of Ancients, currently 6-5 up. So
on T side, I'm assuming?
Yes. So on T side of Ancients, they're actually on track for that 2-0 there. But again, this is sort of as expected, really.
Yeah, and again, it's always going to be a tough ask for them to produce 2 upsets if you're Portugal, back to back.
Yes, yeah.
So we're heading for that final that we were expecting prior to the beginning of this day. But still, job not finished for Sweden just yet here on Mirage. Another solid buy for them, but Romania gaining steam, gaining traction off the back of Zello's sublime shooting.
Very true. It does set up a really interesting third-place playoff match as well. Just checking over there. The star man at the moment for Serbia seems to be Collins.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see it. Good to see it. He actually had a really nice couple of moments yesterday, too.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
one of those guys who, he's been around for just ages, like a decade. Oh, toe spotted. Chicago, no! That's heartbreaking. He does enough damage. That would have killed one player, but it's two different ones that fight him. So that's really going to hurt.
Nilo trying to get frisky around that smoke. Doesn't realize that one, it's fading, and two, that nade appears and bursts it open anyways.
Adam is low. He's not exactly much better. So maybe Chikardow's work earlier might come back as a bit of a saving grace as Raga gets gifted one, but an IGL battle, it's Plofsky comes out on top. 3 versus 3. The big issue here is the clock, 30 seconds. They don't actually have full coverage over towards the A side. They will plant, open it, a tap, then a stick as well as Raga does well for his first. They're still not committed to this plant because just a little worried of a jungle player. Plofsky going to join Shine via CT.
He's done so much damage, Shine. He's connecting bullets, but it's through walls, and it's not enough damage, really. Now, finally, he'll activate. He'll find one onto Raga, gets the reload off as well safely, and now his captain will join hands with him from the CT spawn. They've got to find a way to cut the distance, and they definitely are, but with the bomb in the wide open, Zello will absolutely have a field day, and Romania equalize the odds.
Yeah, no smoke, no kit. It's once again a small thing, because not having that long-term util for Sweden actually sort of kills them in that round. There was just no way they could pull off that rotate, and that retake, may I say, because Romania actually play it so passively. That's the exact right way to go about it. You don't need to fight, you don't need to overface. Even Zello, he basically knows by the point at which that bomb is halfway ticked, they aren't going to be going for any sort of a play in terms of a late rotate through mid or through short, under, this, that, and the other. So he knows that all he has to do is just keep his head tucked and wait for a tap on towards the bomb or a little bit of a play over there. 9-all Sweden, second attack timeout for them. Pressure's on, and they bring Abdi on towards the mic. But unfortunately, we're not really going to be able to do all that much in towards this round, so it's probably more of a discussion towards the next.
Interesting spot that Sweden's in. And
under pressure, actually.
Yeah, like genuinely. And you're starting to see that BTN calling style actually work out here.
Yeah.
You're starting to see this team look a little bit more comfortable in pressure situations, in clutch situations, these post plants. And now it's up to Sweden to break that deadlock through some individuals, and they definitely have that in them, but they've definitely quieted down.
Double flash round. Up close, Shine has to get one hit. That's a ball, but Plofsky goes past him in the smoke. That's awkward, and Shine, who was that last bastion on the site, will fall himself. So B-side execute is pretty damn good here. BTN's got a Mach 10. Out of ammo, I'm pretty sure, so he has to pull off that reload as he had the Glock for a moment. They tap the bomb just to clear the smoke. This will be the round as well. It's not going to make a difference here. For Sweden, they probably actually, more importantly, just don't want to feed BTN with that Mach 10.
Absolutely. And at this point, with keeping 5 men alive and 4 men in the previous, they will be swimming in cash the T's. And I'm thinking that's genuinely enough for 3-4 rounds.
Yeah.
And by that time, max loss will kick in. So they should be okay for the rest of the game.
Yeah. That means Sweden have got to win actual rounds.
It's the hardest kind of comeback, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to earn it gun round after gun round. And with mid control not being as established for them in this game, they're going to have to find another way to win. They don't have that guaranteed win con that's done so much for them.
And the guaranteed win con on the other side for Romania of that Manzello is proven his worth. 22-12 at the moment, looking really, really clean. It does make you think, though, like, without Zello, they probably aren't even close in this map, but you really can't feel that because that's the beauty of this exercise, that they do have him, and he's a guy who can completely take over a server, and it sort of helps on the other side. Maybe Lumi's not looked as impactful, but I think more importantly, we're not seeing that rifling core, and in particular, kind of Plofsky and Shine have as much prevalence as they would hope. I mean, Plofsky, bless him, he's been trying, but it's just not working out.
Yeah, and he's been neutralized time in and time out.
I mean, he got 5 of those kills against an eco.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically saying, what, like 3 and 12 or something like that, and if you don't factor that anti-eco.
Yeah.
So, tough situation there for the captain, but
I think another one was on the pistol too.
Yeah,
so I mean 2 and 12 in gun rounds.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Real driving force in terms of how strong this rifle core looks, so it's really got to be down to him. That's unfortunately the way the cookie crumbles. And now Romania slow down to a crawl in terms of this default. Trying to see if they can punish any little bit of aggression. It goes trickling out of middle, and that's where Raga hits the deck. Finally a 5v4 for Sweden to rest their laurels upon.
Yeah, good timing as well on that position coming through from Nilo. He just avoids a drawn. He was holding for him, but now actually, oh my god, he got the bomb. That's a bad misplay. Romania have left the bomb, and it's in Nilo's grasp now. He doubles back, and he's in trouble. Yeah, he will. He didn't want to stick around because there's about 3 different angles that you have to fight from, so he tries to just fall away and say, I've got this information. We know that timing-wise, we're actually in a really problematic space. Bomb is now picked up. They've got to take a long rotate over towards A, but Sweden should realize this, hence why Shine's coming over to join them, and he's the one with the kit.
And now Plopsky can't even duel because how much damage he's taken on his initial engagement. Sure, there's 9 seconds, but they've got to respect this. They've got to let it go down. Sure, Shine finds a trade, but now in the 2v2, the question is, where's Lumi gone off to? Well, they found him out, and it won't matter. Lumi will hit the dirt, and Adron is there for the next. Romania are 2 rounds away from forcing a third. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, maybe we are going towards that side of Inferno. Sweden, this has always been a good map for them, but it's just not looking that way. The CT side in particular has been pretty dire. No two ways about it, right? They've not got a single gun round, Sweden, and they've really looked uncomfortable. Only 2 rounds with that pistol and that force, and everything else has fallen apart for them. The second the investments come through, it's just been one-way traffic.
Yeah, I think they've been just very timid.
Yeah.
You haven't had that same amount of pressure being exerted. No apps push, no palace push, no aggressive mid control. It's all been dealt with by Romania, and now things are getting a little hot under the collar for the favorites. A-Smoke's being deployed. They don't have to commit off the back of it, but they'll flash in. Bait setup for Adam B. He'll find it on the SMG, and Lumi will actually be the one to find it on the dual Berettas.
Oh my god, that was for a moment a little bit hairy. Tried to transfer and just damages both, kills neither. 11-10. Sweden know this game is still on, but we said if Sweden want to win this, especially in regulation, they've got to do it in the hardest way possible because there's gun rounds every single time, where on the flip side, their economy is permanently on the brink.
I think this is a misstep here from Romania, just calling a set piece against a low buy like that. I mean, straight into that bait and switch there, but it's actually the bait that reigns supreme in Lumi's dual Berettas.
Yeah.
I mean, that weapon is useless beyond pistol rounds. Genuinely never supposed to happen if you're that T side. And does that fumble kind of haunt them is the real question as we get into that witching hour here, round number 22, as BTN still wants to dig this team all the way through to Inferno.
That's a really nice mid-exit coming through, actually. But it's Raga. He thought he was tucked, he wasn't. After smoke plumes, he thinks it's a brick wall, and down he falls. 4 versus 4. One going to be dropped over towards the share player is Zello. He'll reposition. Where actually do Romania want to finish here? Because we've got mid control, but we've just got no idea about either short or comp presence. So the split is not really on at the moment. Feels like where they're posturing at the moment is a B finish. A lot of pressure on the IGL. Plopsy's got to go huge here. He is isolated. All 3 are stacking A for Sweden, leaving Plopsky alone.
Oh, they're moving back now, though. I think they're considering the lean as Nilo will clear out the bottom of A main, but can those rotations get there fast enough? Plopsky still has to find a little bit of impact. He's been flashed, and he's got players coming with him, but a drone flying through apartments will find his man. And in the back of the site, it's Shine's turn to have a round, and he can't muster up anything.
Bomb goes down, and the really unfortunate thing, they just don't have the util set to deny it.
I think you've got to save, man.
Smoking a flash, I think you're right. They're in a really awkward spot. I mean, Nilo has enough to drop over towards 1, but then with that lost bonus we've got for Sweden, Adam and Shine can pick up. Plopsy takes a drop from Nilo, and it's workable. It still feels like they're sticking around for a brief moment, but they just don't have any in-routes here. As that bomb hits 50%, they're out of there. So Lumi will keep out of the AWP. And now Sweden are playing for overtime, and it just doesn't feel very likely.
This is that Romanian tenacity that we've seen in this tournament. We've seen it with this Nexus lineup when they play online tournaments on a regular basis. They will not go down quietly into the night. This is the team that if you find the win, you've got to earn it 100%. And now Sweden are going to have to dig deep with a lower purchase yet again. You put a lot of pressure onto players like Nilo, onto players like Lumi, who have had good maps, but have to go a little above and beyond here to find overtime at a bare minimum.
Yeah, it's very true. Doesn't feel... I mean, it really feels like all throughout this map that Sweden have just been completely out of ideas. They've just not had the right protocols in place like they did towards map number 1 to make this look as comfortable as it probably should have been. And, you know, it's something that Hawker on the desk mentioned. Mirage being your perma pick is a bit of a worry at times, right? Because
it's a risk.
You're playing a puggy team, right? They're happy to fight you. And BTN, he's looked a complete different shade as he did towards map number 1. He was so underwhelming there. Single-digit kills for him in that first map, and finds yourself having a lot of impact here, but still a 1-for-1.
And you've taken down the danger man of Nilo. The shock factor of Sweden is now 6 feet under. And Romania at this point, they've got a lot of time to work with. Not a whole lot of map control, but they're going to go marching together as one through the underpass. Plopsky might be able to spot out ahead here if timing favors him. But so many bodies now have gone beyond, and a player's getting boosted up in a window as well. If Plopsky's not careful, oh my god, ships into the night. Neither player checks, but I think Plopsky is seen a little bit mouth moving. And with 40 seconds, where did Romania end? It looks like the B bomb site.
Yeah, Shine knows though. Shine should get this one for free. Should is the word. They will. Then line up for 2. That's big from Plopsky.
That's a bomb.
So maybe an oversight in one place, but a reposition from him as he moves out from ladder and he catches those 2 players in shore. I mean, not that it really makes a difference financially that much, but Zello just saves here. There's no way. 1v4, 20 seconds, no bomb control. And it's going to take him about 20 seconds to get towards the site via shore. Just call it.
It's
really well played.
It's a couple of pixels that ends that round, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if Plopsky doesn't see him, if Plopsky doesn't see him, there's no way Shine is watching Market at that point. He's going to be trained and honed in on the B apartments.
Yeah, it's 2 big kills, but a 3rd in spirit, right?
Genuinely.
That Shine one is a freebie, just because, I mean, he must have only spotted, like, the backpack, right?
It's
the smallest amount, and it was nearly, I mean, obviously, we say in hindsight now, it's a really good call, and he's basically won this round for his team, but if he is half a second late re-peeking back in, he probably loses the round for them, because that sets up the B split. Shine gets caught off guard, and before you know it, that round falls apart. Romania, these contact players have been getting a lot of favorability in a lot of these rounds, and Sweden just keep getting caught off guard by them.
Cat jump missed by Lumi. He wanted to go for a gunfight straight away, and like instead, he's just like me, for real, and has to fall back to Khan. Smoke up in the entranceway, and he'll hang back a little bit more.
Deep smoke,
yeah, it's a little too deep, I'd like to think.
You can actually play in front of this. I don't know if Romania will. It might just still commit to a short play, and, well, Volti holding for it, and he falls flat on his test. Same copy set for Nilo, but he has to get 2 here. That feels like a necessity, or a reposition as well. Don't have to fight. We have seen these sort of little bit of audacious plays from Sweden where they're trying to force it a bit. He's moving his way forward. Adam B doesn't want to fight. He's tucking and calling that rotation over. 4 versus 4, kits across the board. Utility still in the belt for Sweden, so they're in a bit of a strong spot. And Nilo, for him now holding that rotating towards Con. I mean, honestly, if they were to go for a short contact play here, they get a lot of space.
Yeah, but it's going to be an A split instead. I mean, Nilo
moves away from it.
Yeah, he would have liked it. He would have gotten a freebie right there. Genuinely, another timing, this time going against Sweden, but he re-aggresses. Head spotted, and Zillow goes down. 30 seconds left on the clock. Romania have no choice but to explode onto the first letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, they've got to go A here. Tap on towards the site. They actually have no idea. They're thinking there's a ramp play. If they swing from CT, they can kill a drone. The Molotov will do it alone, and the spam is just a little bit too late. So retake coming through via that CT position for the most part, but Nilo might have a chance on towards BTN. He's tucked up close. Flash is absolutely excellent from Jakarta. And BTN gets gifted over 1 to bring the numbers level. Maybe a chance, a hefty tag on towards Adam, and the buying time, but it still isn't going to help them in the raw. Gun duel, a drawn, nearly gives them a chance, but Adam pushes this to overtime.
I'm thinking that flash won them the game for Romania to push it to a third. I mean, it was well called, but after that point on, you just don't have enough active play, and the CT players find a way to dig themselves out. They basically cross into triple, they put some pressure onto that default player, and then the rest is history. The trades are effective, they play that man advantage wonderfully, and now Sweden, they get to slough off all the mistakes that have happened on the CT side. They can put it behind them, and now they look forward to try to continue to close this series out in 2.
Yeah, full reset now has to come forward for them, right? I think it's about kind of Plopsky just saying, okay, we've been given a bit of a lifeline here after a really lackluster, half. I think probably the best, but that CT side was very underwhelming.
Very not them. You know,
yeah.
Like I don't necessarily see that level of CT side for them very often.
Normally, the CT sides where they do their best work, right?
Yeah,
when we see Metasport take down, scout big teams. Falcons is a great example.
Just getting massive CT hauls and then just kind of rolling over with that T side momentum.
But I think the big thing for them is that they never got momentum, right? And
no.
Credit where it's due to Romania.
They've just hung around. That's the main thing, right?
But they did pull off what we said was the near impossible task, because they had to do that rerun against the full buy each and every round. The chunky nade on towards Raga, but he's still going to move his way forward. First fight doesn't go well. New angle by Adam does well for him, but Adron quick on that trade and actually getting a lot of space in towards the site. And Adron, as he gets a second behind it, he might be in for the chance of the third. Will he consider this close comp player? In the flames, he pulls away. Maybe the worst time is Plopsky dead. Will pounce through that smoke. 3 versus 3, smoking towards jungle. Nilo's on a timer here, and the timer looks like it's going to work in his favor. They think that they're all coming over from B. He might be able to line up 2 here. Zello's close left, another around that corner, but he takes a shot, and actually the ding and the slight whiff costs them. Plopsky pushes forward, down he falls, all onto Lumi on this retake. Nade as well, hits the curb to make matters even worse. A stairs player and a back default player. Feels like this is impossible, and it is. Romania, the 13th round that eluded them in regulation, they find to kickstart overtime.
Oh, Nilo will be kicking himself there that he couldn't convert that kill cleanly.
He needed this discipline is what he needed. Because if he actually moves his way forward, he actually gets the back
again,
default player
there's
as well.
nobody's checking main, right? I mean, that default player is holding jungle. So in that situation, I'd even potentially look for a rifler to confirm. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but Romania claimed the first in OT, and the T sides have been kind both ways. Leg actually found from Raga. He had that mid spawn, and straight away, Dilo will be hamstrung a little bit here in the second round.
Yeah, we know Romania liked the secondary orb because Raga used to be the primary on this team, but it's interesting to do it on that T side, but it's one of those
I think it's
that,
purely spawn.
Yeah, Nexus like to do this occasionally, and they leave a rifle in spawn. He goes back and collects it. I actually like this, right? They've got a leg, they've got confirmed damage on towards 1, and he goes back in towards the rifle. You can use Zello to do his best work. Him and Lumi have had a really decent head-to-head throughout this game. Zello, for the most part, has had more of those highlight plays, but Lumi's sort of just been doing his job. Just 1 or 2 kills here or there that keeps the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, mid has gone into Romania's favor regularly, but Lumia still stayed true to hold that position at some point or another. Misses the flick onto that Apps player of Adron. And meanwhile, this A side goes 1 for 1. We stand still at 4v4 as now mid control is being taken late.
Yeah, the unfortunate, that's unfortunate. But the real uncomfortable thing is that the player who falls in that first engagement for Sweden is Shiner at full HP. And now you're left with 2 riflers who are barely alive, and Lumi who's anchoring over towards that B site. So it just feels like it should be under lock and key here. Molotov ticking, Adam, a known quantity, and a double nade towards the position. Nilo good for a second, and that might give them a chance. A brief moment of respite is Lumi now called upon. Angle posted, Molotov actually goes deep, so it's a good position for them. And a reposition out from Lumi gives time for Adron to get that bomb down and playing the post bomb. But where does he want to go? He knows that he was playing over towards B earlier in this round, but it's a long while ago. That'll give away the ruse. He's coming through connector, and Adron just going to play via Tetris. Lumi has to go loud here. He can't really afford to try and piece the puzzle and slow things down. He's got to try and, fight. He just doesn't check behind him. And Adron, little labored, but he sees off the kill nonetheless. 2 for 2 for Romania. And on track to taking this towards a third.
Nilo's trying his hardest to kick and scream his way for rounds into Sweden's favor, but just cannot convert enough. I mean, he finds a double. Adam B even finds a nade before he falls, but Lumi when you have an op in a retake, especially on that A side, it's so uncomfortable. There is a level of luck involved as well, and he's just trying to lean on the information he gets from where that bomb has been planted, and it's just not enough. Adron has done so much in terms of the impact. 20 kills deep, and now Romania looking for the clean sweep here on the offense. Of course, Sweden still have that good offense in their side of the books as well, but you don't want to have to try to run it back. You just really don't.
I like this bit of aggression coming through. Adam pushes forward. But then he doubles back. 1 minute 10. No commitment being made by Romania just yet. It does feel like an ever so slight B lead.
Yeah, they can't split up through Cat if they can clear out Khan, and they've definitely flushed out Nilo for the time being. So the possibility is there. Plopsky and Shine, who have had a struggle bus of a game, will have to step up big before any sort of reinforcements can arrive. And they've gotten all the way up. Neo, this one looks dangerous here for Sweden.
It's an okay nade, I'll give him that, but Shine, like overlooked, but he does pay the discipline, so that should cost him his life in the trade. And he actually needed a double behind him, but still had to open the quick rotate. So Lumi, good work from him. Oh, that's a bad way to fall for Nilo. He gets caught in that last straggling bullet that was intended for Lumi. And it gives this 2v2 a chance for Romania to go flawless on their T side. And once again, we know in these post-spawns, they don't like to peek. They're more than happy just to chip away at the clock. Lumi creeping his way forward. Zello finds such an important kill. And a one-tap from Jakardo to see off a flawless T-side for Romania. That is immaculate.
Oh, I mean, this grind back, this run back from Romania has been sublime. Where has Sweden gone off to? Where's that flair that makes them so exciting?
Yeah. There's a side who just don't look anything like they did towards map number 1. It was so easy on their opponent's map pick of dust too. And I mean, maybe I guess credit where it's due on the other side, where because we expect them to go in towards the barrage, you'd assume that BTN's obviously done his prep for this, and he's got the right reads. I mean, we kind of have been talking about how Sweden have never been given this ability to snowball and get the momentum that they usually do. Now they themselves got to go flawless, 3 for 3 on T side. The T side was better than the CT, but it's not saying much. Shine had a slow game, but a good way to start things off. 2 important kills, most importantly on towards Zello, and now BTN's got a call from the grave.
Yeah, very important kills there from the newest edition. And now you just slow the pace of the round down. You pump the brakes, you force Romania to make some risky calls. And Jakarta will be the next player up to bat. Makes it down the ladder quickly enough and finds a beautiful burst to a second. Hold on a second. Romania might be able to close. The drone goes through market window, but Adam B will quell it straight away. Still a doable 1v2 here for Raga though.
Where is Raga? That's what Sweden are asking. He's actually got great timing here. Might be able to get at least one towards backside. It's just about, can that market player pounce on that trade? He's clearing everything. This is good spacing though. They might not expect him on this time, and they might even think he's the apartments player coming at this sort of space. Bench player pops up, he's in trouble, and thankfully Adam B recovers that round. There was a moment with the 1 versus 2, had some legs behind it. Sweden stay alive, and thank God, because it was a 5 versus 3.
Yeah, skin of their teeth. I mean, great proactivity from Adron to try and sow some seeds of chaos charging through that market window. And Jakarta really tried his hardest to find as much impact. Beautiful shots there through the Cat side, but at the end of the day, Adam B pulls him over the line. They've got to find 2 more to force double OT. Zello couldn't find that impact with the aggressive opening gambit initially, but now goes aggro into apartments, or A apartments rather, and we'll get a whole lot of space to get a lean on for that B side if they want to.
Slows down, goes a little quiet. Tentative round here in Sweden. Oh, that Molotov does actually get extinguished by the smoke. Shine trying to make something work in towards mid. Getting out the front. Adam trying to go quick here. He's diving out of his own flash, and he will get caught by Jakarta. Maybe a little bit audacious because he had no support. Those Apartments players hadn't pounced yet. Neither had the short ones. And Nilo only going 1 for 1 still keeps Romania in this distinct advantage. But other ideas, 1 versus 2 and a chance here for Sweden.
You can leave.
BTN, the IGL got to do it all. The one good thing to kind of work with is that, at least on the other side, Sweden, they only have 1 HE as the Utah in this post plan.
Great call to leave, genuinely. I mean, the only way BTN can piece that one together is with all that info on the B site. You'll still give it a crack here, but Lumi's got the angle, and Sweden cut that lead down to 1. They're inching their way for that reverse sweep into double overtime. It's tough to cause this level of a comeback on the offense as well, but Sweden are just getting through by the thinnest of margins at this point.
Yeah, and interesting as well that both teams at the moment been doing all their best work on the T side on a map which is statistically heavily favoured towards the CT. And at one point this map was like over 60% CT sided in rounds 1. So again, like we're setting up for a bit of a B play here. Leave 1 out lurking towards mid, but a quad stack in towards apartments. But Plopsy's just going to retract the troops.
No reason to explode here. I'll completely bring this one to a standstill. See if Plopsy can get some mid control without all the utility that they've been tossing in. And Romania also just don't want to make that initial move. Zello has not had that crazy opener to start. He had an underpass play, he had a palace play as well, but this time around just honed in from the ticket.
Yeah, well, you know, he obviously had a great map, but he has been a little quieter.
He's slowing down.
Yeah, in towards the tail end of regulation, in towards overtime too. They've actually found ways to make Zello feel a little bit uncomfortable. Same can't be said for Jakarta though. He has actually ramped up a little bit, and 2 fights taken on 2 different fronts, which don't go well for Sweden. And it doesn't help when Nilo only goes 1 for 1, and it's all down to 1 man. He's spotted through that smoke. We call on Zello, and we will get him. Oh my, Romania pushed this towards a 3rd. And in a way, that was unexpected.
Oh, genuinely not. I mean, before this map even started, I was writing it off. I was saying that this is a done and dusted situation, but a bit of an unfamiliar looking Sweden in this map specifically.
Yeah.
Didn't see that same level of potency on their defense. Saw a little bit of timidness, tepidness as far as that defense goes, and it really cost them at the end of the day. The Romanian side seizing that kind of potential, seizing every opportunity. You've got to give Jakarta that MVP performance in overtime. Genuinely so much impact with those multis.
Yeah, especially with Zello sort of quieting down a little bit. I think they actually needed that rifle to step up. And this is what we were saying before this series started. Keep an eye out for Jakarta. This is a guy who's played, you know, tier 1 events like Pro League, for example, and actually looked pretty comfortable playing against top-level opposition. He's happy to roam. He's happy to sort of float as a rifler and just be the supporting element and allow other stars to shine, but still have his impact. So really, really good map out for him, especially right at the end there in towards overtime. Zello in particular, he was fantastic. 27 kills he finished on, and while it was a little quieter in overtime, he is the reason they got there, if we're being completely honest. So you give them credit. I think BTN called really well, especially those T sides. He looked very, very comfortable at breaking down Metasport. So we've gone towards a 3rd map, and it will have to be all up in the air. The Desk have got a tough job of breaking it down and maybe setting up what is going to be a pretty interesting basic best of 1 on Inferno.
Yes, indeed, the miracle on Mirage does indeed transpire. It looked very scary going into this map. 2 wins in the last 10 to make that 3 of the last 11 now for Nexus, aka Romania. Let's talk positives first for Romania. We'll give Sweden a smackdown in a moment. That first half, for me, Zello kept his team in that game. They could have got smashed on that first half, but he took the mantle upon himself, got aggressive, and made some rounds work.
Yeah, basically where we saw him getting shut down on Dust 2 in those kind of aggressive moments and moves didn't really happen to the same fashion here on Mirage. He got much more in return for it. In addition to that, we also saw, again, an actual team around him. He wasn't alone for the better part of it, at least once we got into the second half. So yeah, Zello might be the reason why they have a game to play, really, once we get further into it. But he did actually get the help he needed when they really needed it the most.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coldplay have changed the lyrics of their song, Alan. It was all Zello in that one. Yeah, listen, it's not my best song, okay? I'll try better for the future, guys.
Are you sure you don't have like a runaway kid or somewhere? Like the dad jokes are on
Who
par.
knows?
Yeah,
Who knows? But honestly, yeah, he was just everything in that first half. And this is why we said that Mirage as a map is not a scary pick for Sweden. They should have still won, let's be honest. But it opened up that possibility to have those individual moments, and that's exactly what Zello wants. That's exactly what he wanted on that first map. You could see him try and force the issue consistently. Mirage is the map where, as an individual, if you want to take over, if you want to fight, you can. And so Zello got to play to his strengths, and maybe surprising that it was able to come out on top entirely here, but still credit to Zello. And honestly, he's kept them in so many maps in this tournament. He was probably a big reason why they beat Germany as well.
Yeah.
If they make it to the final, they've got him to thank.
Oh yeah, 100%. And again, yeah, like hindsight is obviously 2020, but this is why after the veto, I was kind of sad with the feeling like, oh, maybe you should have picked Ancient instead. That's a solid map for you as well, Metis. Like, could have gone that route. But no, Mirage didn't pan out. Didn't pan out at all. But yeah, I think, as you said, it's a lot due to the efforts of Zello. Again, it feels fitting that he should have a map like this in the semifinals at the very least too, considering how he's played the entire tournament. And who knows, he might do it on Inferno as well. I'm not going to put that out of the realms of possibility. But for Sweden, it was just disheartening to kind of see how they played. Their CT side felt extremely uninspired. It felt just brittle from start to finish. I didn't think we saw a single scenario where we actually had a favorable Swedish trade once Romania had decided where they wanted to go to a bomb site. It was best case scenario once, let's say they contact that up A, would be a 2 for 2. That's going to favor the Romanian side once they get into afterplan positions. And same thing, like in this scenario, it's like 2 for 2 trades, 2 for 2 trades constantly. So Romania are always getting that space that they want. The rotations aren't necessarily there in time, or it's just like the individual side of the Swedish players not doing enough in their initial site holds to give them a fighting chance, or at least like a favorable chance in these late round scenarios.
Let's talk through that CT side, the second half for Sweden. They had 3 5-on-3s. One of them was on the half by where they were already stacking, so we can give them a little bit of leeway, but 2 of them were just straight up gun rounds, nothing out of the ordinary, and they lost 3 of them. I don't know the exact stats, but it's probably something like 90% win rate for teams in a 5-on-3. It's above 80%. They lost 3 of them. 1 of them would have been enough to win this series, and you'll know this, Vendetta. Losing those scenarios is communication, it's fundamentals, simple, more passive CS, especially on the CD side in the 5-on-3, is all you need to do, and you're going to win those rounds, and Sweden, for the life of them, couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, something just felt off, really, about Sweden. Sweden
Pressure,
as a whole.
maybe? I mean, what the heck happened?
It could. I mean, in my head, I'm thinking it shouldn't be pressure again, because you do have probably. Okay, Nyla's going to do well regardless. He performed as he should have. Lumi, who we had question marks for, he had a pretty decent game. The people who kind of went missing are the ones who should be the best under pressure situations. Like Plopsky had a rather forgettable appearance on Mirage. Again, I think a lot of the frags that he did get was predominantly eco frags, or not necessarily impact frags outside of the 1 round on Catwalk on CT side. Shine as well, just kind of obviously playing a little bit of a Yankee position, having to be the rotator from B, etc. So you usually get to like pretty unfavorable situations once you're over on A, playing retakes, etc. But those 2 players should be pretty well set in terms of dealing with pressure and actually being able to perform. And just something felt off about Sweden, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint, because as you said, yeah, one thing is to lose 1 5v3, one thing is to lose 3 of them. Like, and one is enough to kind of just slightly tilt your team as well, in terms of being like, should have had that, should have converted, should have probably been in a better state economically speaking, should have had twice the gap that we're sitting with now, and so on and so forth. But no, hard to say really what went wrong with Sweden here, except for a whole lot of things.
Yeah, it felt to me like there were some rounds where we just wouldn't see them take enough information for a good portion there. And then finally, towards the end, there was that round where Plopsky made that move from ladder room up into mid. He took a bit of a risk. It paid off. So I got the feeling that at times they were just not going for enough information plays when the round would go late. And then one of the issues for me was that A site, they were fighting it pretty hard. And with Plopsky having a bad game especially, the rotators coming in, you've got Shine and then Plopsky, who's having a bad game, coming in for the retake. I'd almost rather you just play for a 5v4 and just get that 1 kill initially, because Plopsky wasn't having a good game, unfortunately, here. And I also wonder whether that was part of what got in their own heads, because as that B anchor, there were a couple of rounds they'd lose B a bit earlier on in the half. Then sometimes you can overcorrect and suddenly you get a little stressed, a little in your own heads. So yeah, disappointing on Sweden's side. And again, we've said they haven't been flawless at this event. We've said that they haven't looked at their best. You would think that they'd be fine in a third map, but we thought they were going to be very fine on this one, so who the hell knows?
Yeah, again, Inferno hasn't been, you know, an outright success for them so far in this tournament. This is where they dropped a map pretty convincingly to Turkey. So fair enough, they've been able to come back. They beat the Huns, or Mongolia, obviously in their quarterfinals, but it's not a given that this is going to be a strong map for Sweden by any means. And again, judging from just how they've played in previous matches prior to this tournament as well, because again, we can kind of look to that because they're a roster. It hasn't been their CT sides that have been fantastic. It's been their T sides where they've gotten most of the work done. We've seen plenty of CT sides look really, really ugly so far at this point, and it's been punishing. And Sweden might find themselves in a situation where that is the case, especially if they're going to be as timid as they were on Mirage here as well. Another thing that I felt was a little bit alarming is Nilo, who is by far the best player on that side and is the best player on the server, it felt like he kind of took on the role that Zello had on Dust 2, where it's like, okay, at CT side, I kind of need to get something done early, and we saw him dive pretty early on in rounds around connector quite a few times. And it's not necessarily that he does something wrong with it, but I think you can't necessarily have your best player constantly die in early stages of the round, or like being the opening frag that loosens things up for Romania time and time again, because again, you're kind of meant to make up for the fact that other players on your team aren't having the best of times. If you absolutely want to fight, have Plopsky kind of be a sacrificial lamb for you. Have him take initial contact, and then you can trade off of him, instead of you just kind of dry peeking in up mid where Zello is standing with an op, or trying to fight through smokes, where you know Romania have been congregating with like 2, 3, 4 players at any given time. So I want to see that not happening, that Nilo seemingly needs or feels the need that he has to kind of push the limits in order to get Sweden off to a good start, at least on CT sides.
I also felt like Nilo actually got caught off guard a few more times than I would have wanted. I'm not sure if that's communication or if he was just uncomfortable in a very active position, but that concerned me. That's something I'll be keeping an eye on. At the same time, though, Inferno is a map that should just make a lot more sense. He should have many more fights where it just makes sense where the fight's going to be. He's in control of it. And also, you can't imagine Zello's going to take over on Inferno, right? You can't imagine it.
Who knows at this point? Again, like, he's done it every time. But yeah, it should be the map that's hardest in this series. Inferno's the one that's least likely for him by any metric that we've seen so far for Uppers, right? So you'd imagine it would be harder for him. But he did showcase, you know, here on Mirage as well, that, you know, the man can shoot with an AK as well.
Yeah, still taking Sweden, Alan, but slightly scared about it.
Feeling the same, Vendetta?
Yeah, I got to side with the assumed tournament favorite here. And yeah, I think Sweden should have too much quality to fumble this.
Okay, all great series end on Inferno. Can Sweden tighten up those loose ends and win out? Because it feels like they do have the better team. A quick break for us when we're back. Third and final map of the series. Time to send a team into this grand final.
cause they know they can never touch this. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit. You know I can't help but this, cause they know they can never touch this. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
This gun was loaded when these brave boys decided to go for the run. It's the fire. It's the fire.
We're getting ready for that map number 3. And as they say, all good best of 3s are decided on Inferno, apparently, right? And that's where we're going.
You don't believe that, do you?
Hell no. Hell, screw that map one time. But not quite Vertigo, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely an interesting spot they're in now, though, because Romania have been able to claw themselves back in towards this series. It feels like the lifeline extended, right? And this is maybe where this Swedish side potentially have kind of succumbed to fatigue a little bit. It could be that they're falling into a couple of these traps and these kind of worries that we've had with Metasport throughout this year, where we see these moments of brilliance, but it's not consistent. And now as we go towards this map number 3, it's interesting. We've just heard that Romania won the 9th round and have picked CT side Star on Inferno. If they can get out the gates flying the way they finished in towards map number 2, nice.
And now there's no advantage in terms of the map that
Yeah.
Metasport could be excited about.
Yeah.
You move towards Inferno, where it's a pretty even battleground. And actually, I kind of even side a little bit with Romania, just considering the amount of tenure that a player like BTN has on this map. You can now put the ball in your experienced IGL's hands and say, okay, let's shoot for the stars. Let's see if we can gun for that grand final. They can believe in that idea now.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, we're on the way. We had a bit of an extended break as well, so I wonder how much that helps or hurts either side, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's about 25 minutes or so in between map 2 and 3, and that potentially could ice out a couple of plays, but also could help some others too to just mentally reset.
Yeah, we'll see. Very slow-paced round from Sweden to start off this offense. We'll see what the game plan is for Plopsky. How does he call in a high-pressure situation like this, a third map decider in the semifinals? Talk about, I mean, it's pretty much the highest pressure you could ask for as a newer IGL. Never really had to break a sweat in their previous LAN at the Svenska Cup. And now they really do.
Yeah, that's very true. That other series as well has gone to 3. It was 13-8 to Portugal on map number 2 to push it towards the 3rd. So both series go in the distance. Lumi gets that first. And with Nilo helping and support, dropping BTN, it puts a lot of pressure on this man who's getting absolutely pincered. John, he had no chance there.
As soon as the incision comes through on that arch side, the split was always going to happen. And unfortunately, Romania, I think they're way more behind those pieces of utility that they just don't get it off in time. They get surprised, and every kill goes Sweden's way. 4 unanswered kills, and now it's all up to Raga to see if he can do a little something, but he wants to keep all of that Kevlar, get that $350 investment in case they force buy for a helmet.
Yeah.
And kind of look towards round number 2 straight away.
I don't even blame him, honestly, in this spot. I feel like, you know, it is kind of the ultimate thing of what is the point, right? And they're all out of there as well, making sure that basically going to take such minimal damage on that bomb. It's only really Shan takes any sort of damage at the tail end there. The rest of them actually went for a bit of a hunt in via second mid. But, of course, never going to find Raga. I doubt we see a Romania force buy. They don't have the funds. And with only one person saving armor, it feels for the most part that's just not really worth it.
Well, they won't actually go through with it. So, instead, Raga will invest into a P250. You know, we've seen a couple of dangerous plays with that weapon in this tournament, but no real backing beyond it.
Yeah.
4 stack here on the sandbags, and Plopsky just gets stunned. They're gonna go charging up the middle. You'd like to think he spotted 4 players, but they want to recover that AK. Mac 10 confirmed there for Zello, but if he was just a second earlier, maybe it would have been a rifle.
Yeah. It shouldn't make a difference at the end there, but any damage is good damage, I guess. And you do overwhelm for another one. So even in a 3 vs 3 and a Galil now scooped up, the only issue is lack of armor, but still making it expensive and actually forcing rebuys coming through for Sweden. And with Nilo in a bit of a precarious spot, they might not even just go give this a go. It's more, could just be about exits.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't mind getting that SMG a kill. Does significant damage, and I mean, Lumi and Nilo are both low. They've got to get the hell out of the dodge. Inferno bomb radius is actually pretty large, and they're still holed up here. Zello gets one, a drone with another, and okay, I was gonna say maybe Nilo's dead, but he just lives. They won't be able to save any of those guns, but there's a weapon purchase available here for everybody on the CT side, no problem. So Sweden get a second round, but at what cost?
It actually makes this round completely even, basically, because it's a full buyout both ways, but the real kind of thing is that we see so much of a reinvestment from Sweden. That means that they have no long-term econ either. So this is a big swing round. Romania go for that glass cannon AWP once again. We know that Zello absolutely loves this. He's doing it time and time again, and to very good success. Last time he had this glass cannon, he got a double kill with it.
He's backed himself throughout this series, and while the results have been 50-50, I admire that kind of tenacity and the confidence to make that work as often as possible.
Yeah. Swing and a find for Raga. Drops an 8 as well to try and bait another fight. There's a lot of damage there. Pretty healthy, but he's running low on ammo. Has to conserve. And he just gets the James Harden fadeaway of a one-tap there. And he puts it into a very difficult 2 versus 4 for this Swedish side. Romania could be about to get their first round and get it actually in a spot which could be considered very comfortable.
Crossfire, very long crossfire between these remaining 2 players. There's a smoke up, but he's not aware about how close they can be. It puts it all on the AWPer of Lumi playing close to that smoke. Zello misses his shot, but where one falls, another one arises, and BTN will win the first gun round for Romania and immediately put the pressure on Sweden post-pistol win.
That's really big, actually. Just having, I mean, it all comes on the back of that previous round, doesn't it? Just how expensive they made it means that Sweden have a lot more pressure towards that round. The bomb plant is good, but it's not good enough for a buy. So I think we're going for a lesser investment here. A couple of upgraded pistols, but more or less an eco for Sweden. Romania should have that chance to tie up this game 2 apiece. I mean, maybe see Sweden go for a little bit more of an unorthodox, kind of quicker round, bit of a gamble stack somewhere. But advantage Romania to tie this game up.
Again, it's that determination, that resiliency that has been working so much for them.
Yeah.
And again, strike while the iron is hot, get a nade kill to start things out here. Things are looking good for them, Neo, and it does feel like they're turning a corner. They just get better with time, it feels like.
Yeah, it's true. Already, Oplopsky getting double naded. They start this round out before they even see anybody at a man disadvantage. And I'm going to creep his way forward, and Jakarta going to give up that space. He knows he just doesn't need to play that close. Oh my god. Quick switch on towards Yuto, and then he cost his life. Thankfully, he had that support of Raga. As they go what feels like it's going to be a B finish, they've got to go dry, and it should be easy. It is BTN for 2. And Dron sees it off. And only the one casualty once again.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pressure on Adron throughout this series. They really wanted to go at this stand-in a lot of situations, but I think for the most part, he's done his job. I think he's found enough impact to allow for players like Zello to do his damage, and you know,
Yeah.
same goes for Chicardo. So I gotta give him his flowers.
Yeah, and he plays all these like really hard roles, just anchor positions, right? So he's doing quite well. I guess he plays the better of the 2 anchor positions, being over towards Banana is. But Nero did a bit of an article talking about it, but it's like statistically the best place to play for your ADR. Obviously, 'cause you can just pepper nades down.
Yeah. Zello this time a little bit more tempered in his aggression, but still has a sight line into the brackets. Meanwhile, Romania still stalwart here at the top of car, not willing to give it up as easily with the drone, and he'll get flashed through, but doesn't actually go off the back of it.
Waiting. That's a very, very tempered play coming through from Sweden as Popsky gets his double. That enough should be the round, if I'm being completely honest. It's a 2 versus 4 on this retake. And with that AWP in play and the lack of kit, I don't think we're giving this a go at all. They've already basically called it off. And now it's the attention changed to trying to save it. That in itself is not exactly the easiest, because it's a bit of a hunt play coming on here. Nilo's close to the action. He's going to start to look around to see if he can find a bit more damage dealt on these 2 players trying to save.
It's a false sense of security. It's a honeypot of sorts at the half wall. And at that point, if you're just seeing a sliver of Plopsky before you go down, you have no idea that that 3-man setup is there.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation for Romania, and one that you will never be able to suss out. So fold your hand and see if you can have a better one in the following, but Sweden, they're not going to simply slump over. Yes, you had this hiccup on Mirage. They go a little bit missing. But at the end of the day, they are still considered the favorites in this tournament, in this series. And that round kind of proves that they've got the experience to slow the round down and learn how to work around it.
I mean, as a map goes as well, we know that this has been actually pretty good for a long while for Sweden. This is a map in which they've been utilizing as a strong part of their pool. They've had a lot of success on it too. But Nexus plays so much Counter-Strike. You've always got to be a little cautious of them. I mean, when you look at it statistically, it's relatively even. The only advantage Metsport have, I mean, both of them don't exactly have the best win rate. Just the fact that Metsport have just, I think it's 3-4 reps on it. That'll help them. Jakarta, good for the first. Rag is playing inside. He just peers out of that smoke. 1 for 1 there's job done enough. All playing towards Cold Zero. Zella holding for that rotate. They have to be a little careful now, because that smoke might block the cross. As they make their way in, this is super dicey. He gets the leg, he gets the support. It's only good for 1, and Plopsky, another double kill for him. Might be enough. He tries to get that bomb down. He's now thrust. It's a post-plant 1 versus 2. He needs a quad clutch to his name as well. Doable, potentially. He's tagged up the 3rd player. Or the 4th, may I say. Reposition IGL versus IGL, but you would say Plopsky arguably have the advantage when it comes towards firepower.
BTN, I mean, he's figured out where Plopsky has fallen into, and still Plopsky's not giving them. He's rotted off so much time off the bomb. Keep in mind, there's no kit here, and BTN, even though he gets the kill, round is over. Sweden just absolutely battled their way back in. What a clutch there from Plopsky, spamming the smoke to spot out both of those players. And with that info, just bleeds off the clock.
Yeah, he gets sort of in spirit 1 versus 4. Oh well, big round to be had there. Seems like we've lost Adam B, and I can tell you that because he's sitting next to me, and his screen's black. So hopefully we get the game back in. I don't know if it's the tab bug or a crash.
Uh-oh. They're going downstairs.
Yeah, when you start kneeling down to start plugging and unplugging on the PC, it is a little worrying. Thankfully, he wasn't alive, so it doesn't really affect the end round. And Plopsky does his job.
Yeah. We're trying to figure this one out.
Oh, he's logging back in. It's logged him out of Steam.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, it's the QR code and everything, right?
Yeah, I can see him logging in with his phone right now.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the great thing about sitting next to them. I know everything. Nothing can be hidden from me. He's logging back in, but where are we at? Is he opening to CS? No. He's got Steam up. We're getting there. This is a play-by-play of the
This is riveting.
Counter-Strike.
This is what they've brought you in for. That play-by-play of the sidelines, actually.
Now Counter-Strike is not, it's opening, but only in his top right corner of the screen.
Okay.
So he's got 1/4 of the monitor having Counter-Strike open.
Sure, so he's got to change the res.
It's like the opposite of windowed. It's like, not a window, opposite of stretched. It's like minimized.
Yeah.
But he's got 2 pixels to work with. It's like 16:9, but much harder.
Fair enough. Let me take a look at what's going on that other semi.
Yeah, it has started. They're in towards map number 3, and there we go. It's 4-all.
Ooh, on Dust 2 as well.
Yeah. I do know that Serbia do like a Dust 2 though.
Yeah. It's not gotten as loud as it was before. I felt like when Serbia just like cruised through map 1, it was it was a bit crazy over there, but it's kind of turned into a library on that end. Obviously, when we were actually outside between maps for this game, and they were also outside for, I think the map 1 had just finished, and Portugal were getting loud. Like they were like I think it was Snappy that was kind of just like yelling at them.
Yeah, he was. It wasn't exactly friendly chatter. He was.
Well, look, it's the kick up the butt they needed to pull it back to 3. So you know, a couple of really important speeches I feel like Snappy's given to the Portugal side. I mean, we had that in the other game as well.
Yeah, 10-7 at that point when there was a bit of a cosmetic comeback happening. It was him who rallied them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were trying to figure out who it was because he was sat second from the left, not in the traditional IGL spot of the middle, as you can see kind of where BTN is. And yeah, he was getting real loud. I can't tell you Adam's back in the server. I think he's just applying his config, but I think he's good to go. He's just typed ready. Yeah, they're good to go. This tech pause should be done in a brief moment. There we go. Nice and easy. Keeping you updated here. What we can update you on as well, that Romania do not really have a lot of money to work with. We've got one rifle for BTN, and that is it. Everything else is the upgraded pistols. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, actually, to spot the Romania in. Sweden should get a 5th here without actually having to work for it too hard. The good thing is, though, for BTN, with him having 4K, he should be able to drop an AWP over it towards Zello in the next round.
Yeah, that'll be key. Sweden again going for car control. And being as methodical as they possibly can here in this anti-eco. They don't want to let any of these unforced errors come back to haunt them. We saw that happen for even some of the best teams in this tournament on this map. And Sweden don't want to fall into that. And now, holding on to car, the minute left on the clock. They can force Romania's hand to make some hard gambles, and that they will. 4 players now on this B bomb site to continue to recycle through smokes. But now, they're going to flash through and go straight at this T side. Very similar to when they had guns, and very similar with the end result as well. Oh, you got to jump there, folks.
The jump by don't work anymore. You can type that in your config as many times as you want, Adam. I'm telling you for free. It ain't going to work. Still shouldn't be a problem of a round here, but there is the rifle up close. Nades, and BTN does well for one, but he's now left on an island and isolated. He cannot deliver. This round's done, and the flank gets no leg weight. It's already the 1 casualty. Sweden are pretty happy with that.
Yeah, they'll be very happy. And now they add a little bit of conditioning on that B end as well. Recycling of smokes. The bluff was called. But either way, Sweden stay out on top. And as we talked about before that, Zello will find his sniper, so keep that in mind. Has been so active, and looks like the other semi's getting a little loud. I think a pretty massive moment might have happened.
Let me go and check that. Something's just happened in the other game. You guys, fortunately, you guys can't hear it, but we can. Even with the headphones on, and they're on the complete opposite side of the building. I'm going to assume that was Rhino, the Portuguese guys.
I
think I heard Famos, so.
Always a good sign. Charging up the A site now are Sweden. They find some solid kills with Lumi and Shine's flashes. And now they have to break past Jakarta, who's done well to find another. But this 2v2, a flank is very fast approaching. This bomb player just got to get his gun out, and Shine will find it. And now BTN, the straggling CT behind, cannot trade. And the captain has to step up tall, and will find it and even it back into a 1v1. Picks up a Molotov as well, but no kit. And again, has to cut down positions as quickly as possible here.
Tough. In this 1v1, BTN, a lot of angles to clear, not a lot to play with. Does have a kit, does have a smoke. Doesn't clear Coldzera, but he wraps his way around. It doesn't make a difference as Lumi plays that position perfectly. And Sweden extend the lead once more, go 4 in a row to get a 4-round buffer. And once again, shatter the econ over towards the Romanian side.
I think now it's Plopsky. Is that a little bit of a hitch?
I'm trying to see his monitor, but Adams is in the way. He's tabbed out, I can tell you that.
Sometimes these stop-starts can really mess with a team. I'll be very curious to see if this has any remote effect on Metasport / Sweden.
It feels like it has helped them, you know what I mean? Because
in a little bit of a way, yeah.
We've had, in the previous 2 rounds, 2 big tech pauses, and both times Sweden have come off the back of it and won multiple rounds in a row.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's hurting Romania more.
You think it's giving them like mini resets, basically, just to kind of clear comms for a while.
And it feels like Sweden are a little bit more of a disciplined side, but that actually helped them more so than Romania. Because obviously, I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of the rule set's different for every every team, but every TO, may I say, but for the most part, you can't talk in the tech pauses. So even for Romania, they can't build an idea of what they want to do heading back in towards the game. Looks like tech pause is over. Yeah, it is. There we go. So back on the way. Yeah, like we mentioned, it's not really going to be a buy to work with for Romania, unfortunately for them. So that definitely will hurt things a little bit. I'm trying to get an update on the score right now, but it's yeah, it's not updated.
Yeah, it's
Not-
tough to.
not on
we don't,
HLTV.
we don't have a dedicated score bot, so it'll be hard. But as soon as we do get word, we'll give it to you.
I'll try and find it elsewhere.
Shine kicking things off here with another opener. Very impactful game from him so far. Got a lot of really hard roles on this team, but given a lot of responsibility as young as he is.
Yeah.
Having to fill the shoes of a player that's now qualified for a major, it's a big ask.
Chicard out. Close. And he will do well. That 5-7, guess one gets out. That's basically all he has to do in this sort of position. The issue is Nilo, he gets smoked out, but Plopsky and Shino combine to break open B. There's no one there, and unfortunately, it's just going to be a foot race in which Romania lose. And it might even get worse as well, as here, Chicard out falls to a position he won out earlier.
Yeah, Zello's made it, but he's a little too late. Sweden will get the bomb down. And what looked like a potential dangerous situation there for Sweden, nearly committing to that A play off of the shortened app push. They find the solution gifted right to them with some last-minute aggression from Romania. And, you know, if you're them, if you're the CTs, you're going to take that risk pretty much every day. You want to give a little bit more info to your A anchors.
Yeah.
And you've got pistols as well.
I hate to say it, but every time I've spoken to a certain player or a certain team in the breaks in between maps, they've then lost the map.
Yeah, I think you've just got to get locked. I think you just got to get locked away.
Yeah.
Before the game.
Literally every single time. Did it with Mongolia, did it with Poland, and now did it with Serbia as well at one point. And unfortunately, I had a little conversation with Romania before this map.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm sorry, fellas. I may be your demise here. Or maybe the fact that their star player of Zello's 1 and 6. One of the two. Chicard out. Doesn't need to fight here. Drops the smoke. Gets information and just limits the kind of control that Sweden have. Zello's on the move. He actually gets given the luxury of getting away. And now they take very good control. Chicard out. Pounce on towards Nilo, who tried to re-aggress.
Adam B will still surge forward confidently, and he's found a little bit of a gap. They've given him the respect. And with that, he can potentially cut off rotations if he wants to. That flank will take a little bit of time to transpire, meaning it's up to these banana players to find a solution on their own. 40 seconds left on the clock, not a whole lot of utility. They're going to have to commit to this idea of the B play, and Adam B has found another.
It's only a lurk, though. They haven't actually fallen for the bait. They've kept two over towards B. One playing, plant pot. Draw, and he has the chance. He's spotted one moving in towards water. This should be a kill for him, but it's only a trade. He does get his. It's actually Plopsky with the team damage, but Adron and Zello combine well. Tap on towards the bomb. Quick shot and a quick miss from Lumi. Well played from Romania.
Adam B just a little too slow on that flank there. And he finds his man, yes, and onto a deep brackets player, but I think you've got to extend on through and see if you can get CT spawn control. I think maybe in that situation, maybe he's thinking that once he gets that arch play, that a B anchor would move back, but they were all in on the site proper. And good on them. The boost works out splendidly, even after the Coffins player dies. And now, Romania again, just hanging around. You don't have your stars awake just yet, sure, but you're making it competitive, and you're making the T-side comeback a little bit more probable.
Yeah. Good early damage. A good early fight as well. John finds one, and with Lumi still looming on the brink of death, doesn't exactly instill you a confidence here for the Swedish side. They're basically playing a 5 versus 3.5.
Maybe Nilo can be that answer for you. Make it a little easier to mid-round call if you're Plopsky. But a smoke on the half wall and nobody showing face on the A side means that Sweden have to go in dark. You've got a Drun shoulder peeking here from the CT spawn. That could be an angle that Lumi wants to capitalize with, but now that the recycled smoke is in again, Sweden just drowning with no information.
Re-smoke down. Util being set up and a Dron. He is isolated here. The rotate's coming back over. It might be a tad late, but there's a massive flank on the cards here by Raga. I mean, he alone could be the win factor in this sort of a round. Reload has to come forward for that M4 over towards Coffins. BTN making his move as the smoke starts to bloom. He just gets a quick little fadeaway, and that's when Raga then pounces as he gets both, leaving Nilo in what feels like a nigh-on impossible situation. We caught on Zello, and there he is.
Yeah, they cut down that that map so quickly. They found out once that aggressive mid push comes through, there's no real pushback from the T's. That it's a B play every day of the week. They see the utility flying through the air. The crossfire is immaculate. And yet again, Romania pieced together another round. 7-5 CT Hall would not be the worst in the world for Romania. And if you're Sweden, all that good work that you've done in stringing your campaign on the offense might just get undone.
Yeah, it's true. Swing and a find by Plopsky. As Lumi falls to HE, Plopsky's not exactly healthy either. With Sweden going with this full investment, but lacking quite significant firepower, they're in a bit of a problematic spot. The one thing they've got as a lucky factor for Sweden, there's no more HEs, so I guess Plopsky doesn't have to be worried about one of those, but still, through that smoke, down goes Nilo, and it just starts to dwindle in terms of the chances for the Swedish side.
Yeah, things are getting real worrying for me if I'm a Sweden fan. And now, again, another contact situation where utility is low, and they've just got to break a crossfire, a dangerous one at that, one of the toughest ones to snap through, and you've got an apartment players out, but no kills coming their way. Raga and Chikard out, string together a third in a row for Romania. And it's anyone's game, Neo. Genuinely.
This has the potential of actually being really, really hairy towards the end. This pistol could be everything. If Romania found this pistol, game on, but also a good way for them to kickstart momentum on this T side. We know that they can spiral well. We know they have that ability to be able to snowball in such a positive way. And it does feel maybe just a little bit more tense and tentative over towards Sweden than we have seen, especially considering how map number 1 was and felt. Oh well, pistol on the way. A lot of people say these pistols are generally a little kind of 50-50 coin flippy. I'm not fully with that. I think if you have a good idea, you can really have a very solid protocol. And Zella will start well. They're not going super quick out the gates. They actually want to see what the aggression's like out from the Sweetie side.
Yeah, they wanted that 4-1 lurk as they've done time and time again, hoping that there could be a significant rotation, but Nilo will not back down. I think they've spotted the bomb out as well, so Sweden know that their stack is one that can be continued upon. That's a smart smoke there from BTN. They're thinking that they can cut off rotations, and that they shall. Adam B and Lumi hit the deck, and now Romania have themselves a 4v2. Zello has pinned a player to the wall, and now we just got to complete the kill. Shine also 6 feet under, and it's all up to Nilo, the superstar of Sweden, caught between 2 players in this long-range engagement, and that's definitely where you would want a USP or maybe even a P250. Romania looking to equalize here, and that they shall.
So well played. I mean, Nilo had absolutely no chance. With that bomb down, they are suffocating him in towards top mid. And he was actually super cautious about some flank coming through from brackets. So he was constantly sort of a 180. That is a huge round for Romania to pick up. We see sort of what the effect it has. We are getting the first force buyout on the CT side of this series. Sweden are taking an incredible gamble here. If we lose this, we don't only lose the lead, but we actually then give it over towards Romania.
Yeah, very dangerous situation here. Sweden living life on the edge. And Lumi straight away goes for aggressive mid-peek, gets eradicated by Zello. Sure, the tag comes through from Nilo, but it doesn't matter. The damage is already done, the advantage already found. And BTN in these 5v4s tends to make the right call. They slow the pace of the round down. They find car control as well. There's a lean from Sweden here. Could be dangerous in the late round, but again, Romania could pump the brakes here and have a slower default.
True. Numbers, of course, not favouring Sweden, but the gamble stacking via B. And it does feel like that's where Romania sort of posturing to finish. Actually still could be on for something. Plant pot smoke going to be thrown in a second. And Adam B actually makes a move. That's good timing because he gets a kill and he doubles away. So there's actually just no information on death cam for Romania to work with there.
And now they go straight into the stack.
Big swing. Good for the first. The second as well behind them. He gets that trade coming through from Zello. That's B-side taken. There's one more player here, but he's Adam all alone in a 1 versus 3. MP9, full HP and armor. No kit, no util. Surely no chance. This post plant is very deeply set up.
Oof, a little nerve-wracking there, especially with Adam B getting that MP9 kill, cutting off information and suggesting to Romania that this B bomb site is clear. But they still overcome the odds. And now Adam B would love any sort of a SMG frag to maybe scoop away a rifle. And he was looking for a defusal. Hold on.
No time.
I mean, yeah, the round is over in that sense. Done a lot of damage and gathered a lot of cash, but at the end of it all, Romania should claim themselves a lead here.
Yeah. A little cosmetic in terms of that, like in a retake, but
yeah,
either way, just keeping the financial pressure on towards this Romania sense, more or less what that really matters. Triple Mac 10 is what we're going to get. They know that the buy is going to be slightly lesser coming forward. That is the first force buy on that CT side for the pistol today. And it doesn't work, so we still yet to see a successful one.
Another one locked into place. And we stay locked at 7s here between these two sides. Sweden considered the favorites in this tournament to capitalize on a weaker bracket after Germany got eliminated at Romania's hands. And yet still, this BTN-led side have really clawed things back in this tournament, have shown so much resiliency and some firepower from Zello as well. And they're looking to just cause another massive upset here at IESF.
Would be huge. Romania can book themselves in towards that final. I mean, they've already gone one step further than last year, but it would be about revenge as well.
Yeah.
It was a Sweden who knocked out Romania on home soil last year. BTN, the IGL. No one over towards Big Pit, no one towards Baug in the first. Mac 10 drops the first domino on the site, but just have to be a little cautious of the 5-7s, but it's only going to be the one consolation kill. Romania have stolen a lead here. And Sweden are now starting to run out of chances just a little bit. You know, we haven't got that many gun runs left to work with, and Adam's going to come in with an MP9.
Abdi getting a little loud behind the boys over there with Sweden, trying to rally the troops, make them realize how important this round really is. It really would set the tempo for the rest of this half.
Is he allowed?
I don't
I'm going to assume
know.
yeah. If he's done it.
I'd like to think so. I mean, it is freeze time.
Maybe
Freeze time is a little bit kinder.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, come on, boys. You know, that's the kind of thing. He's not common. He doesn't have headphones on, so. Raga.
Oh.
He has his headphones on. He has his mouse in the right place as he rips Adam B's head off. That's the MP9 done.
I think Portugal are ahead.
I think Portugal just won.
Wow.
Portugal just beat in Serbia. They're standing up and celebrating. Yeah. We don't know the score, but Portugal have won. They're jumping for joy over there. So that snappy talk after that map #1 loss, where he was going at his team, has fired them up.
Tough love, man. Tough love sometimes can be the solution.
And again, I curse Serbia because I spoke to them after map #1.
You need to be locked away,
I
I
know,
think.
man. I actually feel bad. I love those guys. Dragon, Choiv, Kindo, all lovely, lovely guys. But of course, still in chance for a medal, because we've got that third place playoff game against the loser of this one. But that's a heartbreaking loss for Serbia, has to be said. They were the favourites in my books over there.
Yeah, and another favorite over here on the ropes too. Yeah. What a weird semi-final Sunday.
If we got a Romania-Portugal final, no one would have predicted that.
With teams like Poland, Sweden, Germany,
Kazakhstan,
all falling by the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And even like teams in groups who underperformed. Ukraine is probably one for me. That Kono team, I thought they got a hell of a lot of talent for their own right. Who else just missed out? I mean, the Turkey team weren't bad, to be fair, when we called them.
USA, of course.
Oh, yeah, those guys were great.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're allowed to dog them, they're your boys.
Yeah.
I mean, they are actually, in the last 2 tournaments, 1-11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had quite a number of conversations about them, and I hope they can put forward a good roster moving forward, maybe next year.
It was, going to be Nouns at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That would have been cool. They would have definitely been a top 4 team.
I think they would have been in playoffs. I really think so.
Then obviously, they had the RMR.
Which they didn't do well
and then 0-3 in the RMR.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
who knows?
Financially speaking,
it would have been better to come here.
It would have been better to come here.
Yeah.
Because these will have their ranking points next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, in hindsight, obviously, it's better to go to the RMR and be for the chance of stickers, but in hindsight, after the back of a lackluster RMR from the Nouns boys, then it's like, damn, we could have got what is it, anything in top 4, you get in 5 figures. So.
Yeah, and with how few lands there are in NA, it's very similar to the Hun situation, right? They just climb ranking points, but that's neither here nor there. Sweden will still have another purchase after saving 3 rifles, and Romania knocking on the door of double digits, inching their way closer to a finals dance with Portugal.
Can't believe it's Portugal as well. Well played to those guys. What a step up. This is bold and bad. As BTN of a beautiful double does give them some control, and a missed shot by Lumi. The second is pretty nice though. And he's going 1 for 2 in those attempts, but he's still isolated. Break open that smoke, and it actually will drop the bomb. That's important, it's given a chance.
Still smokes up though. That plant can be confirmed. You don't have a Molotov to necessarily bleed out these smoke timers.
They haven't picked up the bomb.
No, they haven't. They're really playing their time here, and Nilo will capitalize as the smoke fades. All the pressure now on BTN and Jakarta to find an answer.
They might try to pump the brakes. A triple church setup. Nilo holding. Jakarta out, waiting for a swing that might not even come his way up, if we're being completely honest. There it is. Very, very big round for Sweden. Without a shadow of a doubt, they needed that, and they needed that more than they even know.
Wow.
Because it keeps the pressure on towards Romania, but they still do buy. But at the very least, it's given them now a clear path of how we actually going to take this third and final map.
I mean, it's so well played from Sweden there in that man advantage. Nilo finds one in the smoke fade, but instead of pushing the issue and trying to search for duels, they know that Romania has to find the equalizing frag. And as soon as Jakarta, or the bomb is tapped, Jakarta offers up the peak. And Sweden capitalize.
It's tough that was, basically a raw 3 versus 5.
Yeah.
Because BTN got that double opening towards Banana going untraded, and they still let it slip away. That's a real concerning factor for me.
But Romania will try to rinse and repeat. Boost up now for Zello. Jakarta finding apps control early. A lot to like about this initial gambit for Romania. But Sweden now have the firepower. I have a little bit of info that top brackets is clear for the most part.
Nade was a little early, hadn't quite moved up. Zello will pose, but met the smoke in towards Deep Banana, and that's a good timing on the smoke, just under the minute mark. They've still got another one as well in the back pocket of Shine over towards B side, so they can just replenish that smoke when we get just under 30.
Well, but now Lumi has to do some heavy lifting here on brackets as Romania realize that they don't want to continue to go at this recycled smoke. They don't want to go gray screen, and Lumi actually agresses all the way. Clips off Raga, and now Romania are flying dark. They've got to find an answer, and quick. With Adam B still stuck into the pit, this round is so difficult for the T's.
Lumi. Backside. Adam falling. Needs his rifle of Nilo to probably step up for a second here. They can't deny this bomb going down. Oh, he might be able to. No, he can't. Zello does so well. Oh, and the spam through the smoke is brilliant as well. That is a heartbreaking way to lose this round, probably. It's still not over, but a very difficult 2 versus 3. Plopsy's got a kit. They've got 1 molly, no smoke, no flash. 2 rifles to try and do it with. This could be where Romania pull this one back in their favor. A graveyard player who's given away his position now. Gonna have to spend time clearing him and BTN and Zello. The AWP and IGL combine in a monstrous response out from Romania.
Listen, I don't want to be the guy to say it, but it felt like Lumi was a little too overzealous there.
Yeah.
I think when he goes for that aggressive play, you've got to find a way to find your impact on the A site, but he stays out in the open when that bomb is being planted, but he's still a complete unknown factor. They don't know where he's gone off to. I would have rather him tuck in a cubby there and see if you can play for another kill, maybe stall for a little bit longer for your rotation to come through art side. Again, it might be a hindsight situation, but either way, a little nerve-wracking as Lumi is still in the negative, and Romania found a very important round to convert upon. I mean, that's a man disadvantage situation where you still got 3 players on the A site and no util to flush them out.
True.
That's like a 70-30 type round for the CTs, I'd say.
Well, with 1 minute 10, quietens down very, very quickly, and just the play here. Smoke out towards long from the T side. It's going to give them the opportunity to move up in towards that short position. The flash is excellent, apart from the fact that Romania responded with one of their own. Zello doesn't know it, but his flash timing was absolutely excellent there. Still doesn't deny Lumi getting one of his own, and ships to the night on the reload. Nilo going to get 2. That is so well played, but so damn lucky to get away with it. Adam B will answer with one of his own, leaving it all down to 1 man, and Zello got to put the team in his back, needs a quad clutch in this round, and it feels unlikely, but will be given the chance. 30 seconds. If anyone's going to have a way with this team, it would be this man. And he's going back. He wants to catch his mid-rotate. The timer is there. He spots him, and he doubles back over towards long. 20 seconds. He's got to commit towards an A play. This is nervy, but actually, he can't afford to wrap in towards B. He has to commit towards the A site here and in towards shore. Nilo, he has had a monstrous round.
I don't know how you find that kind of a timing where 2 players are reloading, or you've got 1 player on low bullets and 1 player reloading. I mean, that is such a small percentage chance for Nilo to pull that off and walk past another player like that.
Yeah.
That is completely, I mean, he's not blinded at all. He just has to stare at him and try and calm. And it nearly still happens for Zello. If he hits that shot onto the mid player, I mean, it puts so much pressure on Nilo, but confident as ever, going ahead of the Molotov, knowing that's still flying through the air. They still get that 9th round, keep this game just 1 round the difference.
Well, attack forsaken. And a brief moment of respite. 10-9. It's the scoreline we wield here. Romania still in for that lead, but ever so slightly. The big thing here, Paladin, this is a monumental swing round.
Yep.
Whoever wins this breaks the other side's economy, as simple as that.
Oh, and that's a great start for Zello, making it a double for Romania. A drone ripping another head. And yes, they're shying in the back of the site, but he's going to get traded, surely. You'd like to think, but there's no spacing. How is a drone going in alone like that?
Hang on, look at A.
It's wide open.
Sweden have over-rotated. They've maybe panic rotated, and now they're panicking back, but it might be too late. Oh my god, Raga hears all of this. He hears 2. He knows her 2 steps. And he might just get the perfect timing. Raga, this is an experienced player right here. He is the win factor. He should be able to get at least 1, if not both. But 1 might just gift its way over a late shot by Zello. But still, Raga, he still has to pounce. And it's Zello and Raga who combine it. Perfect timing, shines all that's left. And he probably has to save.
He absolutely does, Neo. And now Romania lock in an 11th. Surely. Oh, and he misses the shot as well. I mean, you can just hear how much it means to Romania at that point. They understand what that has just done to the CTs. They are knocking on the door for the most unorthodox final in this tournament possible.
Yeah. Nobody predicted this. I predicted Sweden, you predicted Germany, and they were easily the two favorites in this tournament. And we can see neither of them make it their way towards the final, which would be, in itself, absolutely wild. Well, another Sweden timeout. Third and final timeout as well for Sweden here in regulation.
Do you give OT here?
This is, I mean, I actually do. I play for overtime, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 rounds. It's doable. Oh, my goodness. But with how much money that Shine has, they are going all in. This is for the game right here. And up for Lumi.
Wow.
4 MP9s and just a little bit of utility. They're putting it all in the hands of one of their newer additions in Lumi, who has really struggled in this game to find an impact. Talk about pressure.
Yeah, that's a bold call. It is a pick your poison situation, right? But
100%.
If I'm here, I'm playing for overtime. I'm trying to chance it. Who's tapped through the wood? Doesn't get too far away from Lumi, as he said. He gets very close. Yeah, he does tag him, doesn't he, once?
Yeah. And it looks like he doesn't want anything to do with it. He falls all the way to Balk. He had much more of an aggressive line down to the entrance, but smartly doesn't want to give away that prized possession. BTN, meanwhile, on the other end, joining hands with the Drawn, who has been successful at finding car control. And they're thinking about going all the way through, considering there's no smoke right in front of them. Finally, one plumes in their face. And with that, they'll pump the brakes just slightly.
Yeah, that'll slow it down for a brief moment.
It still caused a rotation. That one CT smoke, Lumi has been pulled. What's the call here from BTN? What's that sucker punch play to catapult them into the grand finals?
The freeze feels really good here.
It does. It's causing so much concern now. Yeah. And Lumi is pretty committed to this B site. He cannot leave.
No, he can't. Oh my god, he nearly gets caught there as well by Lumi, but he doesn't. A drop will fall. The MP9's up close, doing so well. A lot of presence here, and it seems to be delivering, but the spam through confidence is good. The flash, it was a team flash that cost Jan his life, but Plopsky trying to lead by example. 2 versus 1, and Zello got it all to do, but if anyone would do it, would be him. We're jumping through the smoke, and Zello might be dead. He is dead. The forced buy is such a ballsy call, and it works.
That was a full MP9 mag, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, there was a chance there for Zello to pull off the impossible, but Sweden, with the triple site gamble onto the B site, pull it off. And Lumi finds just a little bit of impact. He finds a necessary kill, and he re-peeks a couple too many times, but it causes enough commotion that double setup on First Oranges plays enough of a role.
Look what it's done to Romania as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last round that they'd want to lose, right, at this point in the game.
Hero AK Zello. Upgraded pistols alongside. It's not a full buy though, I guess that's the main thing. This is a half investment. And if you want that gun on anybody's back, it would be Zello. Who's going to be the difference maker? Who's going to be the one to put this team in a winning position? Every day of the week, you'd probably assume it to be him. That smoke will go deeper towards Banana. Same with the Molotov, they're going quick. Tech 9, good trades going 1-for-1. Gun picked up, and Zello delivers with the AK-47. We might be on for a chance here. Shine, isolated. A weaker game from him as well, and Zello's trying to cut off rotations. Trying to be this insurance policy. 2 will cross. 1 with the bomb. Zello, there should be a kill here. Oh, shoulder spotted. But then he repositions himself. This is good. Zello can now just play Banana. I don't think they can give this a go.
Look at Zello just won this round just by existing in brackets.
They haven't got the money to get this a go. They've got to save this. They're pulling away.
Oh my goodness.
So Romania are going to find map and series point, and just as Sweden found an eco round, Romania do it right back in their face.
It's that small timing that they just walk up the half wall, and Plopsky has no idea that they've cut that much space down that quickly. And for Romania, they see utility flying. They're thinking, we know that Plopsy's got util out. We can go for the aggression, and those pistols just cut it all loose onto that B site. Map, series, and grand final point here for Romania. Who would have thought at the start of this day?
My God, revenge is going to taste so sweet. Knocked out on home soil last year in the quarterfinals to Sweden, 2-0 as well. And they're on track to win a 3-map affair, and without a shadow of a doubt, an absolute marathon. Might be able to get the sweetest of revenge a year on from when they lost. Booking their spot in towards that final. Obviously, it's not over until it's over, but Nilo tried his best snappy impression from yesterday, and it works against him. John was waiting for it, and he will get that kill. So an opener, and a massive opener coming forward for Romania. And when you look at this buyout for Sweden, we've got an MP9 for Shine with no utility. Plopsky, no utility either. And 2 kits. It still feels like it's in a very strong position for the T side.
Yeah, and look at how timid Romania are. In this situation, I kind of favor it. They know that it's the next move. It has to be for the CTs, but nobody giving that gunfight at this point, and Romania will just try to trade effectively. 4 players creeping up banana. And Plopsky, sure, you've got some stall utility, Molotov deployed there, and now smoke thrown in too.
Okay.
But Sweden's just got to make a gamble. They're literally starved for information. They don't have any idea what's coming through. And here comes the B execution. Plopsky, if there was ever a time for you to come up big, now is it.
What can he do? Well, the first step, he'll take it every day of the week, and he gets a second behind it, so it gives them a chance back into a 3 versus 3. But there's still a lurking presence. The only issue is it has absolutely no effect. Jakarta's not going to see anybody, so this bomb will go down. But it's actually a numbers advantage retake for Sweden here on this B site. And they're moving their way forward. Zello, good for one, but a shot through the smoke from Lumi. Has no right to get that kill. And Rag is left all alone, but Jakarta on for this flank that we spoke of. And 1 versus 2, Adam B got to step up in a big way. Tap on towards the bomb. Flash goes over. He gets caught. He doesn't get dropped. Another tap this time might be a stick. Has a kit. And he has to make a move. Jakarta has to go and he can't.
No
Oh
way!
my God! He gets it. Jakarta, 2% on that bomb. And Adam misses by the finest of margins. Romania, revenge is a dish best served cold. And here in the flames of Inferno, they deliver it and move forward towards the finals.
The last laugh for Romania here. BTN sends his regards, as Romania will be your second grand finalists. And what a story for these guys. Battling back through the groups, a tough one at that, to get second place there.
Yeah.
And to battle through this bracket, through Germany after destroying them on that decider of Dust 2. And then